Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. During the declared emergency, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and in-person attendance limitations. My name is Isaac Laluz and I'll be chairing this hearing. Panel member participating today via WebEx and can be seen and heard are Ms. Satarodi, Ms. Sankar, Mr. Bartolo, and Mr. Klassen. City staff will be assisting us throughout the meeting, including the moderating of the WebEx platform. And with us here today is Dan Antonacci, who is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Kelly Reid, and Brandon Clapp. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentation to the committee using the said WebEx. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. These participants will be connecting either by their computer, a phone, or tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted upon entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered applicant speaker will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you call on to speak. For those waiting online to speak, please make sure you call with the telephone number you originally registered with. Calling with a different number, you will not be able to speak on the item. Again, please make sure that you call with the telephone number you originally registered with. If you try to call with another telephone number, you will not be able to enter. For those, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, in accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended. This meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances, to a new tribunal called Ontario Lands Tribunal, known as OLT. Appeal instructions are set out on the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make the presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised, to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or in opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will be taken into committee for decision. Now, we don't have any minutes here, and for this afternoon session, members or staff, any conflict of interest to declare? None? Okay. I don't have in advance any deferral requests or closing files, so we move on to the agenda, and our item number 1 is item number 23, which is 57 Joslin Crescent. Application number 23, 57 Joslin. And here we have Mehran Mehdari. Are you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and member of the committee. Yes, my name is Mehran Haidari, 1090 Don Mills Road, Unit 506.
Thank you.
North York, Ontario.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the staff report. The staff report is asking to defer the application for 3 months, and the cultural and heritage planning also are asking for deferral. What do you want to do? Do you want to go ahead with the application, or you prefer to defer it?
No, I'm gonna defer the application to respect their comments and follow their review in the 3 months that they need.
Okay, so you're asking for the deferral, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So let's see. We have a number of speakers here. Let's see what they're saying here. We have the first one, Elizabeth and Joseph, and Elizabeth, Joseph, and Ronald Mook. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you heard what's happening. There's a request for deferral because of the heritage planning and all that stuff, and the agent is also going along with the deferral. Do you have any problem with that?
I have no problem as long as once the deferral period ends, that this, like, I don't know the process, so I want, there won't be a decision at the end of that with respect to, like, that's only with respect to the heritage part of it, correct?
No, today,
Because
no, today there is a request for deferral of the application. We will not hear, if we decide to defer it, we will not hear anything about the application until it comes back again, and you'll be invited again.
oh, okay, in that case, then I'm fine with deferring it.
Thank you. Myra Sharp, are you there? Myra Sharp.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name and a full address for the records here?
Myra Sharp, 53 Joslin Crescent.
Thank you.
What else did you need?
Thank you. So you heard what's happening. If we defer the application, we will not hear it today. So are you okay with the deferral?
I'm okay with the deferral.
Thank you. Adrienne Kumar. Adrienne Kumar, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, can you
Can you
please?
hear me?
Yes, can you please state your name and address, please?
Yeah, Adrian Kumar, 59 Joslin Crescent, and I'm okay with the deferral as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, next is Terrence West. Terrence West.
Can you hear me?
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
Terrence West, 52 Radisson Crescent, Don Mills.
Thank you. You heard there is a request for deferral, and you're okay with that, are you?
I support the deferral.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all we want to know. Thank you. Jake Fortinsky. No? Okay. Jeff Cattell.
Yes.
Okay, so you know the drill. They're asking for deferral. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of the North York Community Preservation Panel, and we already requested a deferral, so this is in accord with our request.
Thank you. Just for the records, because we have to hear it and is recorded, your name and your address.
I'm with the North York Community Preservation Panel, and we are a committee appointed by City Council
Yes,
of residents of North York.
Sir, and full name, just for the record, there is stated.
Jeff Cattell.
Thank you. Thank you. We're all set. Okay, the Marin Hedari, are you back? Can you come back, please? Marin Hedari?
Yes, yes, sure. I
Okay,
really
I hear you.
appreciate if the
Okay.
yeah, I really appreciate if the
Do you want to add something?
yeah, I just want to have the email address and maybe phone number of the people that attend to this meeting, to approach them and have a meeting with them to see what is their concern as well. So if they can call us or email us, we can have an appointment with them and make them satisfied about this development later.
Okay, so you're asking them to email you and give it to you. Okay, so in here, we just decide on the variances, I mean, on the application, and see if we can defer it. Members, any question to this gentleman? There is a request from the staff and the Heritage and the Cultural Department, Heritage and Planning. They're asking for deferral for 3 months. Any question? If no question, can I have a motion then, please? Miss Sankar? Miss Sankar, you had your hand left, right? Miss Sankar, do you hear me? Yeah.
No, it wasn't me. I think it was Miss Atarodi had her hand up. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I think Bartolo also have his hand out. It's up to you.
Well, Miss Sankar, Miss Atarodi, you had your hands up. Do you want to have question or you want a motion?
No, I can put forward a motion.
Okay.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application sine die so that the applicant have enough time to communicate with neighbors and do all revisions.
Okay. Second, Mr. Klassen, secondly. All in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is deferred sine die. Check with the planning when it's coming back. And thank you.
Thank you.
Application number 24, which is 16 Ballyronan Road, application number 24. And here we have Nicole Parr. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yes, my name is Nicole Parr. I'm at 22 Blue Forest Drive, Toronto, Ontario, M3H4W2.
Thank you. So for members, we have here a new dwelling, 4 variances, transportation, no objection, and 1 letter only of objection. So do we need a presentation? No? Okay, Miss Parr, the members, we don't need presentation. Do you want to add something before we move to committee?
No, I don't. If there are no questions from the committee members, I'm happy to go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Can I have either questions? And if you have no questions, can I have a motion? And please show your hands very clearly because okay, Mr. Klassen.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a minor, these are minor variances. I'd like to move to approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no conditions. Can I have a second, please? Ms. Sankar, second. All in favor? Okay. Okay. Your application is approved? I'm subject to no conditions. Transportation. no.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely
Okay.
evening
Yeah,
or
thank you.
afternoon, whatever it is. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Barr.
Bye.
Application number 25, which is 1031 Spadina Road, 1031 Spadina, application number 25. And here we have Mehdi Hosseini. Are you there? Mehdi Hosseini? He's there, yeah? Okay, Mr. Hosseini. Mehdi Hosseini. Mr. Hosseini, can you? Let's stand it down, okay? This is number 25. Mr. Hosseini, are you still there? Yeah, okay. So could you please remind me to go back on this one? Item 26, which is 91 Clydesdale Drive, application number 26. And here we have, that's a name, where? Gonzalo.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your
Yes,
first
sir.
What's your first name? Where, Gonzalo?
Yes, sir. My name is Ware Gonzalo, 91 Clydesdale Drive.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have here to widen the driveway, 3 variances, and we have, as you know, the staff report is recommending to refuse the application, and the transportation asking to refuse the application as well. Could you please give us your take on this application?
Well, sir, I've been approved for basement apartment, and to be able to rent my basement, I would need enough parking for tenants.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Members, any question for this speaker? He needs that for the tenants, and the staff and transportation both are recommending to refuse the application. Any question? Ms. Satarode?
Yes, there isn't a question, or maybe the applicant can provide explanation. But the landscaping, soft and hard landscaping, is actually a big reduction. So, is there any way, like, can they explain why? Is it because of the parking pad, or?
Well, the soft and hard is yeah, because it's a small lot and it's a pie shape, so it's wide in the back and it's small in the front.
So what you're saying is there is no way to modify anything for the landscaping. That's what you're.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Could you please check your equipment, because it's echoing so much? I don't understand why. Could you please just check, make sure it's a little bit lower?
Okay, I'll.
Thank you.
I don't know why.
Thank you. Okay, so there is no. That's what he's asking for. Any other question?
For me to rent out my basement, and I need help financially, so please approve my request.
Sir, we're having very hard time on this video here, because you must have some equipment that's echoing a lot. So we hardly, so you can maybe you speak softly. Okay, are you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I hear you. Yeah. Okay, so any other question for this speaker?
No, just a suggestion. Can the applicant build the driveway with a permeable paver so that at least it will help a little bit for wastewater management?
What kind of paper? Sorry.
Permeable pavers. She's asking for permeable members. Those are the, you know what permeable members are? Those
No,
are,
sir.
no, those are like
No.
stones that let the water go through, and they will not stop, will not make flooding on the street.
Yeah, I can do that. It's like an interlock.
Well, yeah, there's interlock which is not permeable, and there's interlock which is permeable. So we'll see what this is what Ms. Sankar is asking. Let's see what the other members are saying. Any other question? Ms. Sankar is saying, she's asking him if he can put permeable stones, and he should be okay with that. Mr. Clausen, yeah?
Yes, I have a question. How close is the property to a bus line or other public transportation?
It's far. I'm not on the main road. It's far from any bus line. You have to walk maybe more than 5 minutes to go to the first bus stop, the closest one.
Any other question? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm ready for a motion.
Your motion.
If
Okay.
that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm hearing all of this, and I just find there's very little evidence to support this. And as much as you want this and you do need the money, and I hear that because everyone's in an economic crisis, and the easiest way to do that is to get your basement rented. Perhaps you have to make an ad that says parking not available. I'm not being, sort of insultive in trying to say that. My intentions are really good. The only thing is that I have before me a transportation report that's saying no, and there's no way around that. And I've got to use their expertise as a mechanism to understand that they've done their due diligence in order to come up with this type of recommendation. The staff and planning report also has indicated a similar sentiment, at which, now piggybacking onto each other, I have got nothing but two very important reports that tell me that, this is not acceptable, despite how amazing and well-intentioned your concerns are. And for that reason, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to refuse this application.
Ms. Sankar to refuse. Second. Mr. Clausen seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Ms. Tarodi is opposing, and the majority is to refuse the application. Sorry, sir, your application is refused, okay?
Okay, sir.
Back to number 25. Is Mr. Mehdi Hosseini there?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, welcome back. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Could you please state your name and address for us?
Yes, Mehdi Hosseini, 201 Steeles Avenue East, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay.
And I'm the agent on behalf of the owner for 1031 Spadina Road.
Very good. Okay. Now we have just a second. We have here one more speaker, but in the meantime, could you give us a short presentation, because there is a speaker here to talk about it, okay?
Sure, no problem. I'm just going to go over this 6 variances that we are requesting here, and there is a change at number 3. So the proposed area for the rear deck, it will be 12.06 square meter instead of 12.96 square meters.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through this, so the space index, we are asking for 1.1, but if you were going through the zoning notice, you were finding it out that the zoning examiner had to include the basement as part of this space index, and that's by definition, the basement is considered to be the main floor because the basement is closer to the established grade. The house is the existing house is located in the way that the basement is considered to be a first floor, and that's why that triggers the number to 1.1 for the FSI. And for the same reason, we have the variance that's calling for the height. So we have 9.74 meters instead of 9 meters for the maximum height. And also we are requesting that's the same kind of the variance for number 6 as well. And the next one that we are asking, number 2, we are asking for the front yard setback. The existing house actually is sitting at 6.81, but the new proposal is 6.3 because the reason for it is that's just the jog that we have on the main floor that we wanted to make it straightening it up with the whole front facade, and that's just for that portion. I think on the drawing that they provided to the Committee of Adjustment, if they're putting it up, it shows on the main floor there was a small jog in the existing house, and we just wanted to make that wall front facade to be a straight wall, and that's why that triggers that front yard setback. And the main, if we, I think zooming in, we can see it right in the front. There is a jog on the existing, which we kind of, if you just go down in the front, you can see the front door. There is a small jog that we push that wall forward, and we're making it one line on the front. That square meter, but we have 12.06 square meter. And I had the discussion with the planner as well on this application, and she understood the whole concept behind this. She was okay with it. And if there is any question from the members of the committee, I would be happy to answer.
Okay, just to make sure what the changes you're having so we know what it is. You're changing number 3 from 1296 to 12.06 square meter. Is that correct?
To 12.06, yes.
Correct. And now the other question you're mentioning, the staff is saying the condition would be that the FSI would be 0.78 excluding the basement.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have here, I think we have one more person to speak here. Yeah, we have here Vivian Ben Murgi. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Vivian Ben Murgi.
Okay.
And
yeah, could you tell us what's your concern about this application, and if you heard?
No, I don't have a concern. I don't have concern. I just wanted to listen and because we across the street might be doing some variances as well. So I just wanted to hear what was going on to gauge how the committee works.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so you hear what the committee is all about, huh? Okay, any question for this speaker? She's here to see what the committee is all about. Very good. No questions. Okay. Mr. Hosseini, could you come back, please? Mr. Hosseini? Okay.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
All right. So you're there. We have yeah, you have a number of couple letters of support, and this lady also said there is no problem. So let's see if the members have any question. Any question for the applicant? No. Okay. If there is no there is no questions, can I have a motion then, please? I don't see, yeah, Mr. Bartolo, I see your name, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I'd like to propose a motion to approve this application with the following revisions: that variance number 3, the proposed area of the rear deck be decreased to 12.06 meters, and that the FSI of the dwelling, excluding the basement, shall be no greater than 0.78 times lot area, and also add the conditions noted in the urban forestry memo.
I'm sorry, what's that, the last one? What's your last question?
And subject to the conditions noted in the urban forestry memo.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen seconding, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved based on the changes you made and the FSI restriction and the forestry condition.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item number 27, which is 55 Grove Park Crescent, application 27. And here we have Christine Deng. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Could you please repeat your name and full address, please, for us?
I'm Christine Deng, the agent of 55 Grove Park Crescent, and my address is 1100 Golden Baker Road.
Thank you. We have here one more person listed here. Do we have Andy Cassell on the line?
Mr. Chair, it does not appear that they are present.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is no person here. Let me take a look. 27, reduce number 7. Okay. Okay, so can you please give us a small presentation and cover the changes that you made, that you told the staff you're making regarding variance number 7?
Yes, the planning staff reached out to us that they only have concerns regarding the side main wall heights. They recommend us to reduce the overall height of the underside of roof eave from 7.9 meters to 7.5 meters, except the portion of the second floor main wall that have windows, as the roof eave is lower. The variance number 7, proposed building height under bylaw number 7625, is reduced from 9.58 meters to 9.39 meters. Although the variance number 2 side main walls height are remaining the same, the planning staff is satisfied with the revision and have no objections on our application. We believe our proposal is consistent with the appropriate to the development of the community, and the variants we are proposing are minor in nature and meet the forecast. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so the only change you made is number 7. You're reducing it from 9.55 to 9.39, and there is a staff condition to develop per east and west elevation drawing. Any other change you're making?
No, only one changes.
Okay, okay, thank you. So let's see what the members are saying. Members, any question for this speaker? If not, can I have a motion then, please? And I should see Mr. Bartolo. Go ahead. Mr. Bartolo,
Yes,
is that?
thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, through you, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following revisions: that variance number 7 be reduced from 9.58 meters to 9.39 meters, and that this development or this house be built in accordance in accordance with the plans attached in this proposal.
Thank you. Second? Second, Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Okay. Your application is approved based on the change you made and based on the staff condition. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members.
You're welcome. Number 28, which is 12 Redmount Road, application number 28. And we have here Glenn Robinoff. Mr. Robinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Okay. So, could you please give us a small presentation and cover the modification of number 5, variance number 5, regarding the platform, and we'll,
Yes.
Okay, so please go ahead.
Sure. Yes. So this is an application for a rear two-story addition to replace an existing smaller addition that was back there, and a pool cabana in the rear yard. The variances before you are, we did our research in the area, and the coverage, including the cabana, falls within the coverage that has been applied in other properties in the area. We did read the staff report. The only concern they expressed was the size of the terrace on the second floor. My client went and spoke with a lot of the neighbors, and there's several letters of support in the file. You should have them. I can read them to you if need be. 14 Redmount.
Yeah, we have those letters on file.
Oh, okay, you have those letters. Okay.
Yeah.
So my client is very much, he's been in the house for several years already, and this is just to provide him with a little more space for his family. The staff request to reduce the platform area from 19.6 meters to 9 meters is fine with my client.
Okay.
We're fine with that change.
Okay.
So, but I feel this is this application is it falls within the 4 tests, and I feel that it's appropriate for
All right.
site.
So that was the question. You're okay with the change of the platform to 9 square meters, huh?
That's right.
Okay. All right. And you're done, yeah? You're
I'm
finished?
done. I have
Okay.
nothing else to say unless there's a question. Yeah.
Any questions for this speaker? If no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Klassen?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move to approve this application. The variances are minor. I'd like to change variance number 5 from 19.6 meters to 9 meters, and it will be subject to urban forestry as well.
Forestry, thank you. Second, can I have second? Ms. Sankar seconding, all in favor? Okay, thank you. It is unanimous. So your application is approved, subject to that change for a modification of number 5, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Mr. Bartolo, when you have your hands, we don't see it. It's behind the tree or something like this. So maybe you can move the camera. When you put,
I'll try. There's no trees in front of me in the camera, I promise. But,
I don't know, when you have your hands, it's behind the tree. I don't see it. So if I miss you, you'll forget me, okay? You'll forgive me.
No problems.
Okay, number 20. Enough, problem 8. Number 29. application number 29, which is 19 Revco Drive, application 29. And here we have Robert Chang. Are you there? Robert Chang. Mr. Chang, are you there? He's here but not there.
Perhaps Mr. Chang can log out and log back into the WebEx meeting. It's not allowing me to unmute his microphone. So perhaps he could log out and log back in. We can hold this down and move on to the next item. Yep.
برنامه‌های هسته‌ای نداشت، حالا متقاعد به تکمیل دیدگاه شرط شد. مقارن با اولین سایه ریاست‌جمهوری ابوالحسن بنی صدر. یکی از مدیران داخلی سازمان انرژی اتمی در زمان ریاست اکبر اعتماد که در آمریکا و
Mr. Hassimi, are you there?
Hi, yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for us?
Yes, my name is Babak Kasemi from Art Lab Design Studio at 355 Eglinton Avenue West.
Okay, we have one more speaker here registered. Is George Evans Swift there? No? He's here. Okay, Mr. Hassimi, we have another speaker here for this application. So please go ahead and make a short presentation and tell us the merit of it, and I'll give you your 5 minutes.
Yes, no problem, sir. We are proposing a two-story single-family dwelling in the neighborhood of Bedford Park. Property address is 278 Old Orchard Grove. There has been a lot of developments in the area. Our proposal is within the what has been approved in the area in terms of the precedents. We don't have any side yard or front yard or rear yard setback for this proposal. We are only seeking 5 variances. All of them are pretty minor in nature. The only variance that I would like to explain, the permitted maximum height of the sidewall height variance in the zoning notice number 2. We are sticking for a 9.39 meter sidewall height variance. Just to explain, this is only applies in the front and rear side of the property. The rest of the house has a side yard, a side wall height of 8.39 meters, and that's just for the modern look that we're trying to achieve with this proposal. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, we'll come back to you because we have one more speaker here. Okay, That's George Evan Swift. George Evan Swift, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, could you please state your name and a full address for the record here?
yes, it's George Evan Swift, 280 Old Orchard Grove.
Thank you. Okay. So could you please tell us what's your concern about this application?
I really don't have any concern. I just wish to hear if there were going to be any further changes.
Okay. Yeah, so he didn't mention any new changes. So any question for the speaker? Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Swift. Mr. Hassemi, can you come back, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the only speaker here, he mentioned that he doesn't have any concern except he want to make sure that you're making no other big changes. And staff, do you want to add something before we ask questions?
Yes. So my client was actually tried to speak to the neighbors who are being impacted by this development. The on the side of this property. Also, we've been working with the planning staff, and there is no objection from planning or transportation, as you see on the reports.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this gentleman? If no, Ms. Sankar, is that a question or motion?
No, just a motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion.
No one else.
Okay, no other question? Ms. Sankar, please go ahead.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, I do believe that this application speaks to for itself. I think the fact that no one is here contesting it speaks also volumes. And it was very good that the agent worked with staff on this, and I see transportation has no concerns as well. So I'm going to motion to approve this application, and I will subject it to the July 14th staff report that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the east and west elevation drawings submitted to the committee, and it will be subject to forestry number 1, condition 1. Thank you.
Thank you. And any seconds? Can I have second, please? Mr. Bartolo, second. Now I see your hand. All in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is approved, subject to the staff conditions and subject to forestry. All right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, is number 29 back? Do you know if... Okay, we're back to number 29, which is 19 Revco Drive. And here we have Mr. Robert Chang. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome back. Okay, could you please state your full name and address?
Yes, my name is Robert Chang. I'm at 477 Richmond Street West.
Okay.
And I am the agent for 119 Revco.
Okay, thank you. Now, we have here this a new dwelling with staff reports to revise variance number 5, which is eliminated, whatever you say. So could you please, and B, the height, all that stuff, and the asking to refuse 3-story, and the councillor is supporting the staff recommendations. Now, could you please tell us exactly what changes you want to make, and we'll see if we have some other more changes.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to first start by confirming what was noted in the staff report related to variance number 5 regarding the front yard landscaping requirement. We were able to make changes to meet that requirement, and the drawings that were submitted to the committee reflect those changes. I think I have a couple of comments related specifically to address the issue regarding the...
Excuse me, we have to make sure what you're saying so we can record it. The staff has to record exactly what you're doing about number 5. You said we did something. As far as here it said it was being eliminated?
No, I'm not requesting anything related to variance number 5. I am stating the fact that we have made changes, so we no longer require that variance. And that was
Oh,
noted
that's
on the
what it
front
is. So
page of the staff report.
it's eliminated,
Yeah.
right? Any other change? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I just wanted to address the two issues that have been brought up related to the number of stories and the building height. To that end, we are requesting, we would like to withdraw variance number 7 related to the height of the first floor. After looking at the design further and after speaking with city planning, we were able to find a way to lower that floor to meet that requirement. So we are requesting to withdraw variance number 7. So and the consequence of that revision is that we no longer require variance number 2. So our proposal then is a 2-story dwelling. I just wanted to further add that once we made that small change, it affected the overall building height. And I would like to submit a small revision to the overall building height, specifically a reduction of 0.4 meters. So that would affect variance number 1. So the proposed height should read 8.74 meters. And then variance number 6, the proposed building height should read 9.3 meters. And the last point that I would like to make is that the property is situated in such a way that the house sits a little above the street. The average grade at the center line of Revco Drive, measured to the elevation of the proposed garage entrance, is roughly just over 2 feet in difference of height. If you account for the proposed reduction in building height of 0.4 meters and the difference in the height of the proposed height of the house to the street, we're looking at something just over a meter in height difference. And I think if you were to take that into consideration, I think the building height falls well within the spirit of the zoning bylaw as it relates to building height. So that would be I have nothing further to add, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, all right. So the only problem I had is you make changes as you explain. So we have to make the clearly changes you're making. So the first change, you're eliminating number 5, 7, and 2. Is that correct?
That's correct. Number 2, 5, and 7.
Okay, what happened to number 1 is also removed?
I would like to amend the proposed height of the building to read 8.74 meters.
7.7, okay.
And then for variance number 6, I would like to amend the proposed building height to read 9.3 meters.
9.3, I got that. Okay. All right, so 9.3 for number 6. Okay, that's good. We originally was 9.7. All right, so the variance number 2. Okay, so let's see. Variance number 2 was removed. All right, so who's the other one here we have here? 29, Mary Bartol. Yeah. We have here. We'll come back to you after we hear the speaker. We have a speaker registered, Mary Daboleno. Are you there? And Vladimir Todorovic.
Neither are present, Mr. Chair.
Both of them. Okay. All right. Okay. So there is no other speaker. There is only the agent, and you heard the changes. Any question or motion? Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I'd like to submit a motion.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following revisions. Variance number 1 is reduced to 8.74 meters for the proposed height. Variance number 2 eliminated. Variance number 5 eliminated. Variance number 6, proposed building height is reduced from 9.7 meters to 9.3 meters. Variance number 7 is eliminated, and I would like to make this subject to the requirements correction to the conditions in the urban forestry memo. And that's it.
That's it. Okay. Second, Mr. Klassen, seconded. All in favor? Okay. Okay, sir, your application is approved based on those changes and forestry, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's number 29. Item number 31, which is 134 Sandringham, application number 31. And that we have Richard Wangel. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes. Could you please state your name and address just for the records here?
Yes, my name is Richard Wangel, and our office is at 102 Avenue Road, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay. There is no other speaker here, but there's something here revised. You want to revise variance number 5 and so on. So could you please make a short presentation and tell us the merit of this?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Yes, if I could just have their presentation brought up onto the screen, and we can then look at the first page. There's just one minor change to this as a result of speaking with the planning department, and we will concur. So item number 6B, it talks about the proposed area of a second-story balcony at 28.01 square meters. That would be reduced down to just 10 square meters, and we have planning support for that. We would agree to that amendment.
Okay.
Okay, and then I could just answer any questions, but briefly just take you through, the site plan and just show you that this is a, we can just go to page number 3, please. Thank you. This is a site plan that will just show the existing home. It's a heritage home. It's a Tudor style home. It's probably built in the late 20s or early 30s. And what we're doing essentially is remodeling the interior and adding onto the exterior at the back. So it's really not seen from the street. There's an outline of the, it's in gray. Unfortunately, it's in black and white, but it should be in color. But the existing permitted footprint actually is ahead of the house quite a bit. Because of the setbacks to the adjacent neighbors. This house is set back a bit further from everyone else. So we are just going a little bit outside of the permitted depth and length, but physically the house itself at its deepest point is only 16 meters deep. We have conferred with Heritage. We're still working with them, and we have conferred with TRCA, and they are in approval stages with us. And essentially what we're asking for is a little bit of a height variance due to the existing height of the house. So we can go to page 4. Next page, please. Go to the, there's one more page, please. Thank you. Okay, and this is the existing home, and the ridge height is there at the top. So that pre-exists, and we're actually staying below that. So we do have height variance under the old bylaw, because that's an existing non-conforming condition. But under the new bylaw, we would comply. Again, everything is seen, not seen from the street. It's just facing the back to Earl Bales Park and Ravine. So we have a slight variance in the back, and we do have an existing third floor up in that attic that we are just extending. Again, it won't be seen from the street, just from the back of the ravine. If we can go to the next page, please. This is the just a 3D model of the existing house. So you can see that there's just a very slight addition to the very right. It's just obscured by that tree. So 1-story addition just to the side. And then if we can go to the next page. We have a rear addition in more contemporary sense, just hiding behind the roof, a lot of glass. As opposed to taking the house down, we want to repurpose it and then just do a contemporary addition on the back. And the next page, the other view from the west. So again, this has all been vetted out with TRCA. We are working with Heritage still, but I think we are in a good spot with them at this point because of the full preservation of the facade of the home. I think the fact that no neighbors are here and that we have spoken with planning and we have their support, I'm happy to answer any questions. I believe it's minor. It does pass the 4 tests. And again, most of the conditions that pertain to length and depth of dwelling are just, I guess, fundamental dimensional lines and just the positioning of the house itself.
Okay, just to go back on the changes, you said number 6, you're changing it to 10 square meters?
What I have on my density, it talks about, it may be a different on your list. On mine, I had item number 6 because I think on our zoning notice we had heritage and conservation were items 1 and 2 in our zoning notice, and then item number 6.
For when you said 10 square meters, are you referring to the balcony, which we originally asked for?
Yes.
Okay, you originally asked for 28 square meters, and now you reduced it to 10 square meters.
10 square meters, and we're fine with that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. So that's the only change you're making. And
yes, Mr. Chair.
TRCA, no objection. Okay, so let's see what, and the staff have a condition per plan to per section plan. So any question for this gentleman? Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question regarding the heritage report. I mean, they've requested a 3-month deferral, but if that's not granted, they're asking for a condition that should the committee not defer the application and grant the requested variances, they request that the approval be made subject to the conditions requiring final building permit drawings to the satisfaction of the senior manager of heritage planning. How far along are you with them, and how do you address this?
We're still working with them on some of the items, but again, we have a heritage specialist that we've hired to deal with them directly, and this just takes us forever, and we've waited so long to go through this. Again, the house is being preserved. It's just I think some minor questions that we're still trying to deal with, but it's just the back and forth. I just wish we could finish it, but it's just taking a long time going back and forth with them. Again, it wasn't even registered as a heritage home, and then it just came up in a review. There may be some interest, so we acknowledge that, and that's why we are preserving the home, and then just working everything hidden behind the back.
Any other question?
No more questions, thank you.
No, thank you. Any, so can I have a motion then? A motion? Going once? Okay, Mr. Bartolo.
Did you see my hand there? No trees in the way this time?
Yeah, well, in and out.
In and out. Sorry, the connection, I guess, is a little spotty.
I don't know. Is that a tree behind you?
There's a tree behind me, but not one in front of me, I promise.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application, Mr. Chair, with the following amendments: that variance number 5 be changed to 10 square meters, and subject to the conditions noted in the urban forestry memo attached. And there's no conditions from the TRCA, and that will be my motion.
Okay. Second. Ms. Sankar, sorry, Ms. Satarodi, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. So, sir, your application is approved based on that change and forestry condition number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Item number 32, which is 28 Turnhill Crescent, application number 32. And for this, we have Puyan Purjan. Puyan Purjan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon,
Can you please
Mr.
state your
Chairman and
name
the
and
committee
full
members.
address, please? Your name and full address?
My name is Puyan Purjam. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Name is Puyan Purjam. The address is 98 Lillian Street,
Thank
Unit 1517, Toronto.
Thank you. So this is for a new dwelling. We have some variances. Staff report refuse variance number 2, and we have 6 letters of objection, 1 letter of support. So because we have like 1, 2, couple more speakers, could you please make a presentation? We'll give you your 5 minutes and tell us what the merit of this application.
Absolutely. The application is pretty simple to me. There are just 2 variances, minor in nature. One is a half a meter request for half a meter increase in height, which is number 1, Chapter 10, 2040-10, bylaw number 569/2013. The other variance is increase of coverage from 25%, going above 25%. At the beginning, the request was on 30.86% coverage, but taking the staff report recommendation and trusting their expertise, we reduced that to stay within the neighborhood character and standard coverage. So we reduced it by more than 1% to 29.8.
Excuse me, repeat that. You're changing the recommendation from 25% to how much?
We complied to the staff report from 30.86 to 29.8 to become below 30%. This was the recommendation of the staff report.
Okay. All right.
And to do that, we had to kind of increase the setbacks on both sides on with the side properties, and beyond that, it's pretty straightforward to me.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's.
That's it.
Okay, we'll hear from the other speakers and we come back to you. The next one is Robin Coleman. Are you there? Robert Coleman.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Could you please state your name and a full address?
My name is Robin Coleman, and I live at 58 Turnhill Crescent.
Thank you. You heard the changes the gentleman made. Could you please tell us what's your concern, if you still have a concern?
Yes, I met Puyan, and I think I might be the only neighbor who met him. And as he mentioned, he has 2 variances. I don't have a big problem with the height variance. There are 2 big homes on the other side of Turnhill Crescent who also asked for a height variance. Neighbors think the homes are quite tall, but with me, it's the depth of the house. Okay, at 30% versus 25%, because I live right behind this home to go up. So I am just concerned because it is getting really close to the border line, because I measured with my neighbor the distance, and it we calculated it as being 16.5 feet from the south end of the existing bungalow to the tree that the new owner wants to take down. And a lot of neighbors are not happy about removing the tree. It's a big Norway maple tree, 57 centimeter diameter, and the neighbors aren't happy about the depth. I was taking a look at the drawings, and Puyan, he seems to want to put a lot into his home, and I understand that, but I think he's perhaps trying to put too many different features in his home in relation to the amount of space relative to the lot coverage. So to do that, he has to add a lot of depth west towards my backyard. I I suggested, and I spoke to a neighbor too, about whether the new owner could move his house forward several feet east towards Turnhill Crescent, move his driveway forward, and then I'm not opposed to him having some depth, but 16.5 feet is considerable depth. You know, there's a big home on the other side of Turnhill, and what they did is, perhaps Poohin could consider this, is they increased the height of their first floor so that they could put a first floor room above a garage. I know Poohin is looking at having a 2-car garage, and a lot of people just have a driveway on the street. So there's a staircase with the drawings, and I know everybody likes to have their own idea as to where they want to put things, but perhaps the staircase could be moved forward to the front foyer area where a lot of people do have their staircase, because as it is now, he has a staircase in the middle of the house. So on the second floor, for example, it separates 2 bedrooms in the front and 2 bedrooms in the back. And I know on the second floor, you know, his drawings are indicating 4 bedrooms, and then you know, washroom per bedroom and a walk-in closet per bedroom, but 2 walk-in closets for a master bedroom, and then of course a big ensuite. So if the staircase could be moved to the front by any chance, then the depth would be reduced going west, and then the big tree could be preserved. There's a number of letters of objection, one letter of support, and I know the couple. I spoke to them and I brought them over to show how far deep Poohin is hoping to bring his house west, and that they were going to be removing, he wanted to remove the tree. And these 2 neighbors, who I'm, you know, good friends with, they acknowledge that they didn't know that the house is going to be going that far deep, and they didn't know that the tree was coming down. They write a letter of support every time there's a committee of adjustment situation, because they simply want to, as per their brief letter, they want to modernize the area, and they want to have big homes put on the street, bigger than the lot coverage can really account for, because they're thinking about their resale of their house. And yes, of course, you could put somebody could put a castle up beside somebody's house, and that would increase the property values of other people's homes. But you know,
sure, we'll ask you, please
in
summarize.
conjunction with the neighborhood.
Excuse me, please summarize. You're getting to your 5 minutes.
Yeah, so basically it just comes down to depth.
Okay.
I don't have a big issue with the height. It's just that I've got kids who've got special needs, and we respect their privacy. There's an older lady on the opposite side of the house, on one side of the house, and then my neighbor is going to be speaking shortly, right after me, on the other side of this house to go up. And she's quite upset about the.
Excuse me,
most of the depth.
I asked you to summarize. I'm gonna have to.
And that's it.
I have to cut you off, because this is, we
Yeah.
have two variances to move the house around, and how many bedrooms and how many washrooms and the tree. We don't deal with the trees here. There is a forestry. If they have to cut the tree, they'll have to go to forestry to get the permission. They don't come to us here for the tree to cut it. Secondly, we have only 2 variances. One is for the building height, which is only 0.46 extra. And we have one for the coverage. The coverage, you mentioned 30 something, he changed it to 29.8. So we'll see if that is acceptable or not. We move on it. In the meantime, you have only these 2 variances that we concentrate on. If we didn't have 2 variances here, you wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be here discussing it. So let's see if there's any question. Any question for this gentleman before we move to the next one? No? Okay. So the next one is Mr. Paul O'Brien. Mr. Paul O'Brien, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm Paul O'Brien.
Okay, can you please give us your name and full address?
Paul O'Brien, 26 Turnhill Crescent.
Thank you. So you heard the applicant with these variances here. Could you tell us what's your concern?
Similar to Robin in that I think the emphasis here is unique to our neighborhood is the way our properties are terraced, right? The folks on the east are pretty much one story already above the neighbors on the west side, right? So both accommodating a higher elevation, but the setback to the rear property, has a virtually exponential effect on the sight lines that negatively affects the people on the east side, or on the west side especially, but on either side as well, where our sight lines, because of this elevation difference, is severe, right? When you're talking about setting the building further back. So whether that's an accommodation of allowing the height and this large ask in the lot coverage, I think that could be accommodated perhaps by moving the site location or the position of the building forward, whatever that allow or whatever that's permitted from the city point of view. But I would ask that we don't exceed the extent for which the other buildings currently are going back to the property lines, that we don't go past those in order to kind of keep the nature of the backyards, our private spaces, of value to us, right? Like it's a privacy issue, yes. Some neighbors are dealing with a lot of family support needs, and it would seem a little bit of obfuscation in that we haven't seen what the building's going to look like from the rear, right? And again, this elevation issue, sight lines, I don't think it's sensitive to the neighbors. I think we just call it equal to everyone else's back footprint. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fair. So you're questioning the height and the coverage. Those are basically the two variances he has, and that's why we're here for. So the first one from 10 to 10.46. So that 0.46, what you're saying, if he moves the house with some other design, then he won't need it. But the way it is, we have in front of us is 0.46. So do you know the 0.46, is that really a problem? 0.46, which is how many inches of that? In the height, I don't think you'll notice it anyways. And the coverage,
I think I might not be muted. Okay, you have to. I don't think you almost need a site visit because, as I say already, the properties on the west are a story below the properties on the right. Given this terraced effect we have in our neighborhood, you have to, and if without a full set of drawings, you can't really appreciate this, and that's what I mean by there's somewhat obfuscation in the way of what's being proposed here.
Okay.
I know there's window lock side coverage, but I think we have to be terse about holding to these setbacks for the back of the property and the height of the property because of this tiered effect in the neighborhood we have.
Mm-hmm.
If it were reversed, if he was proposing on the west side of the street, he would be already a story below, and it would be less impactful on the nature of the property and people's backyards of the adjoining residents.
Okay. And the number two, the variance number 2, changes to 29.8 is still not enough, right?
29.8 is not what was given to us, and that's still a large variation. I think at 30%, that's a 25% change in house lot coverage size.
Okay.
So that seems significant to me.
Okay,
so dropping it. dropping it 2%, I don't know is.
Okay, thank you. I just want to know where you're coming from and see what the members are saying. This gentleman is questioning both variances. Can you please, do you have any question? Miss Atarodi?
To you, Mr. Chair, I don't have a question, but just I want to mention that 46 centimeter, it's something around 18 inches for the height. And then the speaker was talking about the setback. The application that we have in front of us, there is no variance for the setback. So we're only talking about the height and the lot coverage, and the applicant reduced the lot coverage to maybe more than 1%. So just want to mention that there is no setback variance. Just an explanation, because the neighbor was talking about the setback variance and everything, setbacks. So we don't have, whatever they propose is within bylaw in terms of a setbacks.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess what he's saying, because the other houses around are really low, if he changes it, he won't need it. So, but that's what they came up with. In front of us, there is 2 variances, and you're right, we don't have it in front of us. So anyways, any other question? No question?
If there is no other question, I'm ready to put forward a motion.
No, we have to call back the agent who spoke because after the 2 speakers, we have to call the agents to respond. Okay, so we have okay, Mr. Puyan. Mr. Puyan Jam, could you please return and to give us the and respond to those concerns?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. So you heard the 2.
Yes, I've heard the speaker's viewpoint and concerns. I also read the objections online, and I listened to the members' viewpoints. All I can say is if I'm going to build another house next time, I'm going to get Mr. Coleman coming in and design it for me, because he has more points on my house design and layout than my own architect. Beyond that, my variances are relatively minor. And the concerns about the tree is I like to keep the tree myself personally, but it's not possible. I'm a mechanical engineer. From mechanical engineering viewpoint, the shade of that tree would provide me with energy efficiency summertime with the shade, and gives character to the house. I have every interest to keep it, but I cannot. Even if it's 25% coverage, I still, for excavation, I have to take that out. And Robin has been in this neighborhood, and I only met Robin because I didn't know I can go to the neighbors and talk. I thought it's some sort of an invasion of privacy. I just met Robin by accident in the backyard. And he's been there for 14 years. He doesn't have a single tree in his backyard. I have 2. I have to cut 1, and I'll add a couple more by the end of construction. And the height, I got no comment. As the committee member mentioned, within the setback, I am within the bylaw, and I cannot move the house back and forth, especially towards the street, because that's going to ruin the entire look of the street, and I'm not going to do that. Mr. O'Brien is right. The land by itself is elevated, but that the topography and nature of topography of the city shouldn't limit me on what I build on my land. So respectfully, I request the approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, any more questions? And if there is none, now Ms. Sankar, you can move to your question. I mean, Ms. Taradi. Ms. Taradi, go ahead.
No, just a quick question. This application, we're talking about application 32. We don't have any forestry condition.
I don't have it in mind, no.
I provided, I filed for forestry, and I think I saw it online, and the report was prepared, and I added to my application. I'm pretty sure that I can resubmit it if I have to. But basically, there are 1 mature tree, semi-mature tree, as Robin mentioned, the Norwegian maple, which is healthy, semi-healthy, and there are 2 very small ones with 5 centimeter diameter in the front. One of them is in front of the driveway, which has to go, and I'll replace it with something else. But I think Robin's and my concern was the bigger one, which is shown in the layout of the site plan. But forestry, I have arborist report. You can take a look at that. But the forestry said they're not going to provide me any recommendation until I get the COA binding agreement.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, what the member is saying, that we usually have a condition, and this is not the report that you got, but conditions. And you're right, Ms. Atarodi, there is no, I don't have anything on mine. So there is no.
And there is nothing online, so maybe it's not in our packet.
No, he's just talking about the report that he got, but as far as our conditions, we didn't get any. So please make the motion. Please go ahead and make the motion.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with one change, that the variance number 2, the proposed lot coverage, is now changed to 29.8%, and we don't have any forestry, so that's my motion.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Sir, the application is unanimously approved based on the change you made, okay?
Thank you, committee.
Okay.
Thank you,
Now,
Mr. Chairman.
members, if you don't mind, we're going to have a short break, 5 to 10 minutes. All right, we're back to session here, and we have application number 33, which is 123 Gorman Park, application number 33. And here we have just one speaker, who is Mr. Glenn Robinoff. Mr. Robinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, we have here one. There is no other speaker, just the agent. 5 variances. Staff report is asking for a condition to construct per front and left north elevation drawings, and forestry condition number 2. So I don't see all the members here.
Well, we can decide. I'm just kidding.
We'll wait for the members to come in.
Sure.
Okay, so we still have the quorum, the 2 of you. So do we need a presentation? Ms. Attarodi and Ms. Sankar, you're the only ones. Do we need a presentation?
Yes, I appreciate the presentation,
Okay.
especially one explanation regarding variance number 4.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Robinoff, could you give us a small presentation? We don't hear you. Can you please speak up?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you please make sports returns today and cover the variance related to the coverage from 30% to 38.7? Tell us what the area is like and if it can sustain 38.7%.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually, if I could read from the staff report, because they had reviewed the fact that this study was done, this was subject to a consent application some time ago. And when it was severed, they created this lot. The, excuse me, the house itself, the only variation to the house footprint is the existing garage is going to be pulled forward to kind of fill in that front corner of the house. So if you look at the site plan, that might be the best item to illustrate it. But staff have reviewed it and have no concerns with the proposed lot coverage as it relates to a minimal lot coverage increase to extend the garage and the building's front footprint. The other thing I wanted to point out is that the second floor is not sitting on the outside walls on that side. It's actually set in as a way of mitigating the impact of a house with a side yard setback that close. We've actually shifted the second floor in. So that's one of the reasons why staff has asked being tied to attachments 1 and 2 in this report. So the second floor is actually set in further from the property line than what the existing and proposed garage extension is. So the difference in the coverage of what's existing versus what's proposed is that small extension in the front corner, which is the garage. And they feel that that's a minor element considering the being tied to plans and the way in which we've dealt with the rest of the second story addition.
Okay, thank you. Any question? We don't have any other speaker. Ms. Sankar, question?
No, I'm just ready for a motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion. Okay.
Yeah. So I've looked at this proposal and, even given the explanation provided by the agent here today, it just validates even more for me that it does meet the 4 tests, and I accept the explanations provided by the agent here today. So I'm going to motion to approve this application I'll make it subject to the July 20th staff report, in that the proposal be constructed substantially in accordance with the front elevation drawing and left north elevation drawing submitted to the committee. And I will make it subject to forestry condition number 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second, Ms. Sankar, Ms. Satarodi, all in favor? Okay, unanimously. Sir, your application is approved, subject to the staff condition and forestry.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Number 34, which is 81 COMBE Avenue, application number 34. And here we have just one speaker, who is J. Smith. Mr. Smith, are you there?
I am, Mr. Chair. Jay Smith, agent for 81 Combe Avenue. My address is 2814 Hollington Crescent.
Perfect. I didn't even have to say it. Thank you. Okay. Now, this application is for first and second story addition, 2 variances, 3 letters of support, and that's it. There is nothing else. Do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Sir, we don't need a presentation here. Do you want to add something before we move to committee?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So, if there is no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I think this is very minor in nature, and I'm going to motion to approve this as is. Thank you.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Sir, your application is approved, and there is no...
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. No condition. Okay, number 35, which is 11 Altamont Road, application number 35. And here we have the agent, who is Tyler Grenier. Are you there? Tyler?
Yes, good afternoon. Tyler Grenier, 3 Church Street. I am a land use planner with Bousfields Inc., representing the owner of the property.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a number of speakers after you, so please make a presentation, a 5-minute presentation, and tell us what the merit of your application.
Certainly, and could I ask the presentation I submitted to be brought up on the screen? So just while that's being brought up, the purpose of this application is to permit an elevator structure, or an elevator pop-up, if you want to call it that, within the interior courtyard of an approved townhouse development on the subject site. This site does have previous application approvals. Just for some background, in 2017, LPAT approved 2 townhouse blocks on this site. And in 2019, the owners secured their site plan NOAC for the subject site. The development facilitates 2 townhouse blocks that sit on top of a shared underground parking garage, which was approved with stairwell access from the underground garage to the interior courtyard. The view you're looking at on your screen is looking east from Altamont Road into the interior courtyard. And subsequent to those approvals, we engaged in discussions with staff to provide improved accessibility from the interior courtyard to the underground garage by allowing for an elevator. So in the middle of your screen, you see some orange flowers. Just beyond that is a little block structure. That is the recommended or sought after elevator structure that we're seeking approval for today. Now, the subject site has 2 site-specific bylaws which apply that came from the LPAT approval, and each of those site-specific bylaws have a height map. So we're simply requesting an amendment to each of those height maps to recognize a 5.2 meter height allowance for this elevator structure. We go to the next page of the slide. This is, just a simplified site plan. In the middle of the courtyard, you can see the location of the elevator. It is in a rectangular box outlined in bold. And if we go to the next slide. So this is one of the 2 height maps. So this is diagram 3. That is part of site-specific bylaw 260-2020. Simply all we've done here is identify the location of the elevator and provided a permission for a height to allow for that elevator construction. And the bottom left corner, we've identified this as revised diagram 3, so it's clear that the diagram has been amended. We could go to the next slide. Similarly, this is the schedule to site-specific bylaw 259-2020. And again, exact same identification of the elevator with the word revised added at the top. So 2 of the variances before you today are with respect to revisions to the height map to allow for the elevator structure. The other 8 variances are simply stylistic. That is to say that each of the site-specific bylaws reference this diagram in this schedule. And because we've added the word revised in front of it, we now have to add the word revised in the text as well. So 8 of those variances are simply just adding the word revised. I do want to highlight that the identification of the elevator, its location, its size, its height is something that we worked collaboratively with staff, both city planning, urban design, and even city legal throughout the better part of 2020 and early this year. You will see in your submission package that there is a permission from City Council. There was a council resolution which does allow us to come to the Committee of Adjustment seeking permission to amend these 2 height schedules to permit the height of the elevator pop-up. And I believe you've also read the staff report, which has not identified any issues with the proposal and has simply asked that we construct in accordance with these bylaws, which we, of course, agree with. I think that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to hear any questions.
Thank you. So the revised on the application is compatible with the staff asking to make a condition subject to schedule RM1 118 and revised diagram 3. Are these compatible with those variances?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we'll have we have a number of speakers and we'll come back to you.
Thank you.
We have here Laszlo Domonkos. Are you there?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I am here.
Okay, can you please state your name and your address, please?
My name is Laszlo Domonkos, and it's 18 Altamont Road, M2M1S4.
Thank you. And what would you like to say? What would you like to, any concern about this application?
I don't see the exact location of this structure. How far is that from the street? But our main concern on this street is that the curbside garbage collection. Like it's a lot of like a coverage of the area of the property. I think it should allow like a garbage management on site. Same as the snow management will be on site. We would really appreciate if you can look into this matter also. So please do something about us because we don't want to have so much garbage on the street. That's only thing what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, so we don't relate to any variance. All you want to check about the garbage, I think you can call the city, and they have a department that can deal with that. We're looking at the variances in front of us. Any question for this gentleman? Okay, next one is Margie Wagner. Are you there? Margie Wagner?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
I am.
Can you please repeat?
Muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, if you please repeat your name and a full address for the records here.
My name is Margie Wagner. My address is 12 Altamont Road in Downsview.
Thank you. So tell us, please, what's your concern about this application?
I am concerned about the length of time this development has had to take, the fact that we had to campaign to cut down the number of dwellings on this property, from some 80 in a residential area of Toronto. And they are now down to something close to 40. And we hope that that can remain part of the plan, that we have the lower level. We spent a lot of time getting all our neighbors together to agree and to sending in notifications to the company. And we sit in hope that they will continue to adhere to the regulations for a house area, not a Main Street building. And that's what I had to say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I don't know exactly how to relate it to these variances. What you're asking for is to adhere to the area. What exactly you mean?
It's it's not a Main Street residence. This is in a private house area of private homes. And it already exceeds the height of most of the private homes around here. We hope it will continue to stay within those limits.
Oh, okay. Any question for this speaker? Okay.
No, we've been communicating for a long time.
Thank you. Okay. Next speaker is Wilbert Chue. Are you there? Wilbert Chue? Is he around?
Oh, I'm not here to speak, actually. I just want to listen on to.
Oh, okay. Is that, could you please
Sorry.
just state your name and address for us?
It's Woburn 22 Altamont Road.
Thank you.
I just wanted to listen on the presentation.
You
That
just
was
came
it.
to observe. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sorry.
All right. So let's get back to the agent. Okay, Mr. Greenware. Grenier, please.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
so-
here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I don't know what you have to add here. You heard about the variance. Variance speakers. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just in very brief, I think I just want to highlight that, concerns with garbage and snow storage are things that were dealt with through the rezoning and site plan approval process. And as you noted, are not the applications before the committee today. And just to give Ms. Wagner some comfort, there are no changes being proposed to the building heights, the number of units, setbacks, or anything of that nature. We are still moving forward in accordance with our approvals. We're simply seeking variance today to deal with an elevator access to improve accessibility throughout the site.
Thank you. Okay, any questions for this speaker? Mr. Klassen?
Yes, I have a question. I'm just trying to understand how this came about. Why wasn't an elevator included in the original plans?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is a great question, and I was certainly anticipating this question. I don't have a great answer other than to say, once the approval was completed, I think a more fine-grained level of detail in terms of how the site's going to function for the end users, those discussions began. And that's actually, I can assure you that we actually began those discussions in summer of last year. There's been some hiccups just in terms of the process to go through. So it does seem like we're here much later than we should be, which is true. But I think it was just perhaps something that wasn't the focus of the original rezoning, but certainly is something that we're looking to improve today.
Any other question?
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more questions, can I please have a motion? Mr. Klassen?
Yes, Mr. Chair, obviously having elevator access is important, and the changes are minor, so I'd like to move to approve this application with the various requirements from the staff report that it be constructed substantially in accordance with the revised schedule RM1X118 and the revised diagram number 3 that's been submitted.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and can I have second, please? Ms. Tarodi, second. All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's unanimously approved based on the staff condition as mentioned by the member. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. Application number 36, which is 189 Woburn Avenue, application number 36. And here we have Miss Ida Evangelista. Are you there? Miss Evangelista, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members. Ida Evangelista, 53 Bentworth Avenue. I'm here on behalf of Doctors Mahmoudi and Azafdai, who are the owners of 189 Woburn.
Thank you. We have here 3 more speakers, so please give us a small presentation in 5 minutes, so we can move on to the other speakers.
Yes. So the variances that you have in front of you relate to main wall height, overall height, FSI. We have worked extensively with planning. We have revised the application quite a bit, removing many variances. The variances that you have in front of you, now if you refer to your front elevation, what we've done is we've stepped back, we've tiered both the front and the back of the home. So at the front of the home, we've tiered it back, and to the top of the second floor, we have a wall height of 7.05. The overall height, because we have a main wall height of 10.30 and an overall of 10.30, is because this is a flat roof home. So, however, just to mitigate some, massing, we have taken a great deal of consideration of the neighboring properties, and that's why we've tiered both the front and the back. And also, when it relates to the third floor, we've also tiered in the third floor. So the overall height of 10.30 is taken to the top of the parapet. Below the parapet, it's 10 meters. To the top of the second floor is 7.05, both at the front and the rear. If we refer to our roof plan, A205, you'll see that the length of the third floor is 9.53 meters. With a good portion of that third floor, it steps in on the sides at the front of the home. So what we have is on the east side, it steps back 4.78 meters. On the west side, it's 5.5 meters. We have no side yards. We have no front yard or rear yard. Our rear yard setback is 15.32. We are asking for an overall height in this particular matter. The main wall height, again, is because it's a flat roof. However, you'll see that at the back, it does step in 2.46 meters. So the house does align with the neighboring properties. Actually, there is just like a canopy at the rear that just projects about 0.05 beyond the neighboring property at both 187 and 191. My presentation that I submitted, you'll see that there are neighboring properties at 179 to 185 Woburn also have quite considerable height, and 169 and 167 also, they're the immediate context that speaks to the neighborhood. This is an area with a eclectic size of lots and home styles. And we have been very sensitive to the neighboring properties, and that's why we have terraced both the front and the back, especially that third floor is terraced substantially, so that does allow for sunlight, penetration of sunlight. I know that we did have extensive conversations with the neighbor at 187. They had some concerns with their build. I'm hoping that we've addressed their concerns, and we will continue communication with them. I did knock on the door of 191, however, we did not connect, which is unfortunate. I know that they have concerns with the home. They have concerns with the trees. The canopy will remain. The area is overgrown, and as you see from the photos that I've submitted, you'll see how overgrown it is in the back. There will be a lot of cleanup. For any trees that will be removed, trees will be replaced. So there will always be that greenopy, there will always be that canopy, and there will always be privacy. And that, in relation to the variances that we're requesting, I believe that this is consistent with the prevailing pattern of the area. What we're asking for exists in this neighborhood. And for that, I respectfully submit this does meet the 4 tests.
Wow, 5 minutes exactly. You're very good. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you covered exactly 5 minutes. Okay, Marianne Harris, are you there? Marianne Harris? She there? Yeah? Yeah, we hear lots of noise, but we'd like to hear Marianne Harris.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
okay.
here.
Could you please state your name and address, please?
My husband, Andrew Frey, is going to speak to this matter, so you can move on to him, and I will be with him.
Okay. All right. One of you have to speak, and if you want to speak, both of you, you have to share the 5 minutes. So you tell us.
Okay. Yes, it'll be Andrew. Yes.
Okay. So please go ahead. Tell us what's your concern about this application.
Hello.
Yeah, please
Can you hear me?
Your name and address, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Andrew Frey. My address is 191 Woburn Avenue, right next door to the subject house.
Thank you. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. And good afternoon, committee members. A couple of initial things. First of all, we're going to refer to 2 pictures. This is for the support staff, 2 pictures that are in our submission at the end. We'll come back to them later. Secondly, Ms. Evangelista said she's contacted us. The landlord's agent said that we have never heard anything from her. She has our email addresses. We have not heard a thing. Now, I have a prepared presentation, so here it goes. My wife, Marianne Harris, as you've heard, she's with me. She and I are the next door neighbors to the west of 189 Woburn Avenue. Our house is a recently built 3-story home, so in principle, we do not object to the applicant's building 1-2. However, we are concerned that their proposed design will block space and light in a number of ways that have a material adverse impact on us. We had addressed our objections to the applicant's variances by applying the 4 tests under the Planning Act in our July 28 submission to you. In responding to test number 1, the variances are not minor. We object to variance number 2 and the 0.86 FSI. We understand from city staff that this is at the high end of recent FSIs for Woburn Avenue on either side of Greer Road, which is close by, next door. Although the second floor of 189 Woburn is although the second floor of 189 Woburn is longer than the main floor, not stepped back, the plans show it as 10% smaller in GFA. The actual mass of the house is significantly greater than 0.86 FSI because the applicants have in effect privatized public light and space by enclosing their house exposing in their house an indoor green patio, a loft feature, and an elevator, all of which are not counted in GFA or FSI. When these exemptions are added into FSI, the effect is an FSI of 0.91, not 0.86. This level of FSI is unacceptable. Please show photo 2. There it is, the lower photo. Thank you. The length of the proposed second floor is out of keeping with the neighborhood. Almost 2/3 of the 3-story houses on our block have a second floor that is stepped back and shorter than the main floor. This is reflected in our Schedule A survey appended to our submission on August 3rd due to our initial inadvertent omission of it. With regard to city staff's position, we respectfully submit that the second floor is not properly stepped back to minimize the impact of additional height. Photo 2, which we just saw, shows the impact of the proposed second floor. It's the lower photograph. You can see a looming wall that is about 13 feet high right next door to our second floor rear balcony and master bedroom. It removes the current tree screen the proposed plan does and the natural light and space that we enjoy. Our backyard privacy is also adversely affected. Once the new second floor is built, it will protrude enough that the applicants will have a better view of our deck and backyard from their second and third floors than we have from ours. We object to variances 1, 3, and 4 regarding wall and building height as follows. Please show photo 4. Our house has windows on all 3 floors facing east to 189 Woburn, halfway back from the street. Unfortunately, that is exactly where the maximum height and width of the applicant's building is. Look at the lower photograph there. This is exactly where the maximum height and width of the applicant's building is. This blocks the light to the only side windows of our house, as you can see from those circled areas, circled in red on photo 4. 3/4 of the 3-story houses on our block have peaked, slanted, or dormered roofs. These features permit more natural light between properties and moderate the looming visual impact of full height walls. None of the maximum height walls at 189 Woburn are structured this way. The applicant's picture, photo 5, of the houses across the street shows the prevalence of these features in the broader context of Bedford Park. Now regarding trees, photo 4 taken by the applicants, you can see in the back, shows clearly 2 magnificent tall trees at the back of 189 Woburn. Even though it is easy to see that these are protected trees, the applicant's June 7 tree declaration filed with the committee stated there are no protected trees. The applicants in fact proposed to cut down these protected trees to replace the current garage on the property. For many good reasons, this should not be permitted. Turning briefly to test 4 now, the official plan describes appropriate neighborhood development, including the specific applied requirements of the zoning bylaw.
Sir, I'll ask you to summarize your exceeding your time limit, 5 minutes. If there's any questions, we'll come back to you.
Okay. In closing, the proposed FSI 0.6 is at the high end of FSI in the neighborhood. If the excluded square footage were added to the FSI calculation, it would be 1.91. This level of FSI should not be permitted. Further, the vast majority of 3-story houses on our block and in our vicinity have the physical character of stepped back second floors and roof elements such as peaks, slants, or dormers to reduce the visual impact and increase the light to the neighbors. The official plan states the following: no changes will be made through zoning, minor variance, consent, or other public action that are out of keeping with the physical character of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if the members. We don't entertain the tree. We make it subject to forestry who deal with the trees. We don't decide on what tree to be removed. Members, any question for this speaker? If not, can I have the next one, who is the Andrew and Marianne Harris? Oh, that's him. Okay. So, oh yeah, so I had them on twice here. Okay, Jackie Chan and Eddie Lam.
Hello. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, could you please tell us your name and address?
Sure. Jackie Chan, and our mailing address is 130 Pond Drive in Markham.
Thank you.
Unit 107.
Thank you.
We just bought 180. Yeah.
Tell us
we
what's
just
your
bought
concern.
187. Sure. We just bought 187 Woburn, the house right next to 189 to the east. We have 3 major concerns. The first is the height of the proposed house. If anybody can pull up the our letter, Eddie Lamb's letter, they'll see a picture of the 2 houses. And there's a blue house in that picture. It's also in the owner's agent's presentations. We're the blue house next to the red house, which is being rebuilt. The house we bought, 187, is one of the original homes on the street, which we believe was built in the 20s or 30s. It's only about 5 to 6 meters tall. If the front wall of 189 Woburn is 10.3 meters, that would be approximately 3 meters taller than our blue house. This would be visually incompatible. It would leave 187 Woburn sandwiched between two much taller flat roof houses. As you can see in the picture, there is already a very tall flat roof house on the other side, being 185 Woburn. We did reach out to the agent for the owner. We found her name in the application. She initially told us that the effect of the impact would be mitigated by the stepped height increase, and that there would be about 18 feet between the first front wall, which would be around 7 feet, and the second wall, which would be 10.3 feet. Actually, there isn't 18 feet between the first and front wall. We asked for drawings, which we received today, and clarification. There's actually a box part at the front of the wall, in between the first and second wall. And the effect of this is that the second taller wall is only about 6 feet away from the front. If you require further clarification, you can refer to drawing A303 of the applicant's site plan drawings, which shows the side east elevation. I don't know if anyone can pull that up. The fact that the setback, a meaningful setback, is really important to mitigate the negative impact that the height increase would have on our house. And as you can see, from the front, you can see some faint lines. So the distance between the front wall and the second wall is not 18 feet or 4.75 meters, as the owner's agent said. It's actually a lot less. Because of the height difference and the lack of a significant setback between the front wall and the second front wall, we can't support this minor variance. Ideally, because of this minor setback, conceptually, those two walls are pretty much visible from the street. The second concern we have is respect to the maintaining privacy. Because of the height difference and the inclusion of a patio, we're concerned about overlook into our backyard or our future backyard. We're also concerned if there's any windows incorporated on the east side, which would be able to overlook into our house and yard. Our third concern relates to potential negative impacts that the construction and excavation of the deeper basement would have on the structure of 187 Woburn. It is a brick house and with an old brick foundation. And we know that when you're digging next to old brick foundations, preventative measures are crucial. We've asked the owners to enter into an agreement with us to deal with any type of preventative measures and responsibility for any damage, but we have not received an answer on whether they're willing to enter into such agreement. So based on these three concerns, I'd like to summarize. The first is the height of the house and the lack of a meaningful setback from the first front wall to the second front wall. The second is the privacy impacts that the patio may have and the height. And the third is the structural impact. And I can't emphasize the third enough because these are only 20-foot lots with 0.45 meter setbacks on the property line. They're very close together, and they could have a grave impact if not done properly. But I understand today that the committee is dealing with the variances, and on the variance thing, as I'd like to repeat, we are very concerned with the impact that the height difference would have on our house.
Thank you. You also stopped exactly at 5 minutes. Yeah, you're right. The committee does not entertain those structural designs and all that stuff. That's the building department. We deal just with the variances. Now, any question for this speaker regarding the variances? No? Okay, so we'll call back the agent. Ms. Evangelista, can you come back, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
So tell us if you want to answer those concerns.
Yes. Okay, so as I mentioned, if you refer to the east elevation, east or west, both the same. So the east elevation, you'll notice, so the house itself on the first floor is 16.32 meters. On the second floor, it's 17 meters. It pops out, the second floor portion pops out just a smidge more. However, on the second floor, you'll notice that it steps in 2 feet on both the east side and the west side. Now, in reference to Jackie's comments, at the front of the home, on the east side, at the front of the home on the east side, the house steps in 15 feet, 0.7, and on the west side, it steps in 18.15 meters. There is an 8-foot pop out on that second floor for the third. So what we have in front of you, there is terracing at the back of the home, as you can see. The platform, we do not have any variances in relation to the platforms. However, you know, we are going to be planting columnar trees to add for privacy. We can even add privacy screens so that we can mitigate overlook and onlook. So, but the house itself, to that first floor, you'll notice the tiering. So the first floor is, to the top of the second floor, it's 7.05, and for the first floor, it's 3.86. So it's not one block home that's 10.30 meters. We've taken into account neighboring properties. The house does not represent as the home at 167 and 169 and 185 and 179. It actually terraces both at the front and the back, and at the side, and on the third floor, it steps in also. So, and the house is a north-south facing home, and there is, from east to west, our light, there is a lot of area for light penetration, as we do not have side yard setbacks. We are requesting that main wall height of 10.30. However, as I mentioned, it is because we have a flat room that's a main wall height, and because we have a flat roof home. However, because it does tear back at the front and at the sides, and I believe what we are presenting is not as intrusive as other neighboring homes that are just straight up long 17 meters, because I'll tell you, at numbers 179 and 181, they have heights of 10.52 meters with FSIs of 0.85. As to the comment of the neighboring property at 191, the elevators is counted on the main floor. It's not counted up above. It's not something that can be filled in later. It's not something that, you know, structurally we can just turn around and add to that. There is inspections throughout, and if any additional living space is added, we're back at committee of adjustment.
Okay.
So for this, I do propose that we are consistent with what is happening in this neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any questions for this? Any questions for this agent? If no questions, then can I have a motion there, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, thank you so much. I have to their concerns. However, in the explanations provided by the agent here today, I do get what this property is about, and I do get all of the efforts that they've done to sort of mitigate circumstances of the neighbors, the neighborhoods, and still try to meet the character of that neighborhood. And I think it was a more ingenious method to me of, the way that it's being constructed to be sensitive, or a lot more sensitive to the neighborhood and to the neighbors in that regard. And I get also the explanations about sort of the way that the height is measured based on the flat roof, etc. So I understand all of those technical details that might appear on paper to be more cumbersome than it really is. So with that in mind, I think that this is a fair application, and I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application. And I will make it subject to the July 21st staff report that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the front elevation and east side elevation drawings that were submitted to the committee. And this will also be subject to the memo of July 21st with respect to forestry, just the conditions of forestry in that updated revised memo.
Thank you. Second. Ms. Atarodi, second. All in favor? I have the two opposed. Mr. Klassen opposing, and I don't see what's his name is not there, huh? No. Okay, so we have the Mr. Klassen opposing, but we have the two who approved it. So Ms. Evangelista, your application is approved, subject to those conditions of the staff and forestry condition 2 and 3. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Okay. Now we have the number 37, which is 83 Princess Avenue, application 37. And we have here Matthew Fong. Are you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Hi. Your name and your address, please.
Okay, my name is Matthew Fung. I'm at 599 Denison Street, Unit 3, Markham. I'm representing the homeowners at 83 Princess.
Thank you. So, from staff, from members, we have the new dwelling, 4 variances. Staff report is asking to attach to site plan, and there is forestry condition 1. That's all we have. Do we need the presentation? No. Okay, Mr. Fang, we don't need the presentation. Do you want to add something before we go to the committee, or we go straight?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So can I have a...
Excellent.
I'm sorry?
Yep, no, continue.
Okay, thank you. So any question? Mr. Klassen, did you have a question or you want a motion? Motion? Okay.
I was going to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Please go ahead.
I'll move to approve this application. It is minor. The staff are in support. I'll make it subject to the staff condition that it be constructed substantially in accordance with the site plan, and also to be subject to urban forestry.
Thank you. Second. Mr. Bartolo, second. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Sir, your application is approved and subject to that staff condition and to the forestry. Okay?
Thank you very much, everyone.
You're welcome. Number 38 now, which is 19 Glenarden Road, application number 38. And 38, we have here Karen Mitchell Ehrlich and Bradley Allen Elberg, and those are the owners. Could you please tell us which one of you is here? Karen Mitchell or Bradley Allen?
Yes, we are both here.
Oh, you're both there. Okay, who would like to speak?
It's Brad Elberg, Mr. Chairperson. I'll take the lead.
Okay, could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yeah, my name is Brad Elberg. My address is 19 Glenarden Road in Toronto, Ontario, postal code M6C 3K1. And as you know, but for the record, my wife, Karen Ehrlich, and co-owner of the home is also here, and she's of the same address.
Okay, very good. So you're both on the same address, and we'll see if we need you to speak. And if we need you to speak, one of you or both of you share the 5 minutes. Now, this is to enclose the front porch and cover the existing garage. 2 variances. Staff report constructs per site plan, and transportation, no objection. Members, do we need the presentation here? No? Okay. We don't need the presentation. Would you like to say something else, or will you just move to the members for decision?
I think in the circumstances, it makes sense to go to the members for decision.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Sankar? Ms. Sankar, okay, you had a motion? You wanted the motion?
Yes, if my colleagues are okay with that, I'll just move it along. And I do believe that this, through you, Mr. Chair, I think that this application is very minor in nature as well, and I do believe that it meets the 4 tests. And I see the number of letters of support as well as no objections from transportation. So I'm going to motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the July 14th staff report that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment. Thank you.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Atarodi, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Your application is approved, subject to that staff condition, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and thank you, members of the committee.
You're welcome. And now is number 39, which is 66 LARABEE Crescent, application number 39. And for number 39, we have Mr. Robinoff. Glenn Robinoff is there.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. It's Glenn Robinoff.
Okay, we know who you are, but for every application, we need you to state the name and address because it's recorded on the video. So please tell us your name and address.
It's Glenn Rubinoff for Rubinoff Design Group, 18 Gloucester Lane, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you. So we don't have anybody else here. We have 9 variances, staff reports, just a condition, reduce, but they're asking to reduce the roof portion. And now could you make a small presentation, cover that and cover that's condition, okay? The staff report.
Sure, absolutely. The in my supporting documents, I have at the end of it, I have some diagrams. I'm not sure if they're in color or not, but basically the roof is partially sloped and partially flat. And by definition, because the flat is just slightly more than the sloped, it's by definition a flat roof. As a result, the portion that's flat is a little bit higher than what staff was originally happy with. So they've asked us to reduce the flat portion of it. If you go right down to the bottom, I think further down. There we go, one more. Yeah. It's that little pink area there. That's effectively what the variance is for. So it's a portion of that portion on the right-hand side is effectively a flat portion. And because it's larger than the 50% permitted, it's by definition, the whole house is considered flat roof.
Right.
The other side is sloped roof, and it's under the 10 meters, which would normally be the case if it was considered a slope roof. So we're really just talking about that area, which I think staff made a very a good compromise for us. We will just lower that area on that side, down to what they're recommending is 8.2 meters.
Yes.
And then everyone's happy with that. So we're happy with the staff recommendation on this, and that's the main question. It's not entirely a flat roof, the whole house. It's just a portion of it. As far as the other variances, I believe they're fairly straightforward and in keeping with what's going on in the area. You know, the setbacks are relatively minor. The lot coverage falls, you know, within others of similar approved or rebuilt in that area as well. So I will leave it there. I know your time is valuable. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you through? Yeah. Okay. So you're reducing the, as per the staff report, you're reducing the roof, the flat roof from 8.67 to 8.2 meters. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. There is no other condition. So let's see what the members are saying. Any question? Ms. Sankar, question? No. Well, any question? Yes, Ms. Atarodi. Ms. Atarodi.
So your
yeah?
message.
Okay.
Yes. By reducing that the portion of the roof to 8.2 meter, does it affect any of the variants?
Mr. Rubinov?
Hi, sorry, I was muted.
But did you hear what I asked?
Yes. Yes. So because the height is taken to the top of the slope portion, it wouldn't affect the variance. It would just be effectively the flat portion. I think it would just have to be noted that the flat portion would be at a maximum height of 8.2 meters as a maybe as a condition of the approval. But it would still apply, the 10-meter height would still apply because of the slope portion.
Ms. Sankar, yeah. Go ahead.
Nazila, I just have another question regarding the variance number 8, the lot coverage of 34.26% versus 30%.
Yeah, it's we did sorry, my apologies. We did look at the area. We have an area map that we had did a study of, and we found several homes which have coverages that fall within that same ratio. One on LARABEE number 26 at 34.45%. And the other, there's another one on LARABEE 49, LARABEE at 33.5, and one Minorca Place, which is just off of LARABEE, which is at 34.3%. So, you know, we did do a research request to make sure that what we were doing was not something that's unusual for the area. So there are several. There are also, if I point out, there are several homes in the area which are flat roofed homes. So again, even the style of the home is not something that's unusual for the area.
Okay, any other question? No? So if not, can I have a motion? Ms. Sankar, did you have a hand for a question or motion?
Yeah, no, it's a motion, Mr. Chair.
So please,
through you. Yeah, through you, Mr. Rubinoff, I feel like you've been like here with us from the very beginning. So you're almost like this honorary member today for the morning and the afternoon session. Anyway, in regards to this application, you know, I do believe, as explained to us, that this is indeed, from my point of view, minor, and especially with the fact that you're going to adhere to the staff report, I feel satisfied that this does meet the 4 tests. So I am going to motion to approve this application, and I'll make it subject to the July 28th staff report, and I'll read that out just for planning's sake, that the building height for the flat roof portion of the dwelling be reduced from 8.67 meters to 8.2 meters. The flat roof portion refers to the portion of the dwelling where the top of the roof measures 8.67 meters from established grade as shown on the roof framing plan, front and south side elevation drawings attached to the report. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Second. Oh, I have 2 seconds. Mr. Klassen and Mr. Bartolo. Okay, Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Tarod is opposing. And Mr. Rubinoff, your application is approved based on that condition. Okay?
Thank you very much, and have a good day.
You too. Application number 40, which is 81 Cottonwood, application number 40. Cottonwood Drive, application number 40. And here we have Edward Lee. Mr. Lee, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Edward Lee, speaking on behalf of the owners, 6 Argyle Street, Toronto.
Okay. And could you please tell us your full name and address? Edward Lee, what's your address?
Yes, sorry. 6 Argyle Street, Toronto.
Thank you. Okay, members, we have here to build a front and rear additions, 2 variances, staff report to build per site plan. Do we need a presentation? No. Okay. Mr. Lee, we do not need a presentation. Do you want to add something or we just move on?
Here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay. Any question? If not, can I have a motion? Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, this is a very straightforward application, and I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with only one city staff condition, that the front yard setback to be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing attached to the report, and also subjected to forestry.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Sankar, second. All in favor? Okay. Your application is unanimously approved based on that staff condition and forestry.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Number 41, which is 168 Hendon Avenue, application number 41. And here we have Dale Tetro. Dale Tetro.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Could you
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'm Dale Terrio with Trenton Drafting and Design. I'm the agent for this property.
Thank you. And yeah, okay, so you're the agent, and we have here, there is no other, I don't see any other speaker. Addition. Members, we have this to build a second story addition. Staff report to build per east and west elevation drawings and forestry condition number 3. Do we need a presentation? No. Okay. No. Yes. No. No. Okay. Mr. Terrio, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to add something before we move on to committee?
No, Mr. Chairman, you can move forward
Okay.
with our application.
All right. So any questions or motion, please? First questions. Any question? There is no question. You have a question, Ms. Sankar?
Just a quick question. If the applicant can just make a comment about variance number 2 with the proposed lot coverage.
Yes, absolutely, Ms. Committee Member. The existing house lot coverage is actually higher than what the proposed is, because currently the front porch, which is right in front of the house beside the garage, it's completely covered, which would be counted for coverage. We're only going to be covering portion of that, and we're going to be extending out a small canopy over the garage. So we're actually reducing the coverage. So that's my explanation for that one.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm ready for a motion, Mr. Chair, if no one else has.
Okay. Any other question from the other members? No. If not, can I have a motion then? Ms. Sankar, you wanted to make a motion? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Through you, Mr. Chair, I think that, this is self-explanatory. I think that the application reads well. I am very happy with the response to my question by the agent, and I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, and I'll make it subject to the July 20th staff report, which indicates that the proposal be constructed substantially in accordance with the east and west elevation drawings submitted to committee, and I'll also make it subject to urban forestry condition number 3.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo seconding. All in favor? Okay. Okay, sir, unanimously approved, subject to that condition and to forestry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, number 42, which is 71 Elmhurst Avenue, application number 42. And for number 42, we have we have all of them are agent, owner agents. Okay, I have three names here. Kamiran Aldabak, Lina
Yes.
Morini, and Nadia Tobia. So who's here and who wants to speak?
I will start first.
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
My name is Nadia Tobia. I at 38 William Carson Crescent, Suite 706. I am the agent or the architect for the owners. It's a new house.
That's 42,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. For 71 Elmhurst. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, 71 Elmhurst Avenue. It's a new construction house. Our variances are
Before you go ahead, let me ask the members. We have here, this is a new one. We have three minor variances. Staff report has to modify variance number 1, and please address that one to tell us how you want to modify number 1. So please address to that one, okay?
Okay, so yes, this is 33.6% from 30%. We will modify that if you ask for it, but this design was done to the owner's needs, and we were considerate in maintaining the height with the bylaw and also having the length and depth less than the bylaw to minimize the impact at the neighbors and their privacy. The owners and the family went around the neighbors, and they had a nice visit with them, and they explained the situation, and we have, I think, 8 support letters. The owners, this is building the house for their needs, and they are 5 adults in the house, and they intend to stay in the house and age in place, and they required some accessibility and elevator, which increased the coverage. As we said, we will modify it if you ask for it and if it's bylaws, but it came as a need from the owners. And I will turn now to Mr. Dabar to explain why they needed that area.
Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me.
Excuse me, just to let you know, it doesn't matter how many people are speaking. You are going to share the 5 minutes amongst you. So please state your
Sure.
name. State your name and address.
Yes. Cameron Aldabak, 2 Andale Drive, M2N0G5.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, we've been here since 2003, and we would like to stay in North York. That's why we have chosen to build here rather than going somewhere else where we could have a more luxury of the area. We are a big family of 5, and we are all adults, and they will be staying with me, my 3 children, until they get married. And even when they get married, they could have access to our place whenever during the holidays and the weekends. And if they get married, I mean, their children might come and enjoy this house. And even to go and extend that in future, if they have difficulty in purchasing their own, we could also accommodate their little family. So this is I'm building this house because I'm an old man, but I'm thinking of future. Thank you.
Okay, so who wants to speak again about the this application? Now I didn't get the whole thing. Are you changing the staff report that condition of the variance number 1 for lot coverage, and you're changing it to what?
Well, if you do not accept the 33.6, we will change it.
No,
But it came-
excuse me. We don't say
Yeah.
we don't say if you don't accept it, we don't negotiate. You tell us what you want to change it to, and we'll make the decision.
We'll go less. We'll try to do less. I have to go to the plan and see what we can do less.
We want 33.6. Greater.
Is that something we can work with?
Are you asking me? We don't.
Yes.
I said we do not.
You need an answer. You need an answer right now about the percentage?
Yes, you tell us what percentage you want to change it to, and then we'll make a decision whether it's okay or not.
33.2.
33.2. Okay. 33.2, and there is a condition. Okay, let's see what the members are saying. Any question? And no question for the speaker. Then I have two hands here, Ms. Sankar and Mr. Klassen. So who wants to speak? Any questions first? First, no questions? Okay, then I need a motion. Who wants to make a motion? Ms. Sankar and Mr. Bartolo at the same time. Okay, Mr. Bartolo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I'd like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following revisions. That variance number 1 be revised from 33.6% to 33.2%, and it be subject to the requirements of the urban forest, or the conditions of the urban forestry memo attached.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Ms. Satarodi is opposing, and the application is approved. So your application.
Thank you.
Your application is approved.
Thank you very
based
much.
on that condition, based on that change and condition of forestry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, forestry, 44. Application number 44, which is 135 St. Leonard's Avenue. Application number 43, right? Yeah, 42, we just finished it, huh? Yeah, and now it's 43, yeah? The application is not ready, so can we go to 44 and we come back? Okay, the applicant for 43 is not here yet. We're going to stand down and we jump to number 44. Application number 44, which is 135 St. Leonard's Avenue. So, and here we have David Bronscale. Are you there?
I am, sir. I'm just reconnecting my audios. Hang on one.
Okay.
Audio, can you hear?
So
okay.
connect them well so you won't make too much noise.
Yes, sir. My headset is on.
Okay. So could you please state your name and address for the record, Chair?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last name is Bronskill, Bronskill, and my first initial is D for David, here appearing as agent for the applicant, sir.
Thank you. Now, we have here 1, 2, 3, we have 4 more speakers, so we'll give you 5 minutes for a presentation as to the merit of your application, and then we'll go to the other speakers.
Thank you, sir. There's one revision I should make to the list of variances, sir. Okay. Variance 7, sir, on the public notice, which is height under the old bylaw.
Yeah.
And it says on the notice, maximum permitted height is 10 meters. The proposed height is 10.75. And sir, I think there may have been some confusion because there were some different staff reports. The earlier staff report, sir, before the previous deferral, had actually asked that that height be reduced to 10.2 meters. That request is not in this staff report, but given that it was in the initial staff report, sir, we're prepared still to stand by that reduction. So that variance, sir, as revised, should be the proposed height is 10.2 meters, not 10.75.
Okay, so variance number 7, you're changing it to 10.2 meters.
Correct, sir.
Any other change?
No, sir.
No,
Because
okay.
I think, sir, all of the other changes are picked up in the public notice with my thanks.
Okay, so please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, and members of the panel. We appreciate the opportunity to have had the deferral. I think, sir, you and members of the panel will have received from us a proposed list of conditions of approval. Sir, I just wanted to flag those for you at the outset, sir, to fulfill my duty for to counsel for the adjacent neighbors at 133 and 139, sir. We have used the deferral opportunity that we had with them to work out minutes of settlement, some design changes at the rear that are encapsulated in the plans that are before you, as well, sir, as some changes. The variance changes, sir, are also all reflected in what is before you. And so, sir, we have some conditions of approval that we sent in, and my thanks to staff for providing them through. There are 3 of them that we would be asking, sir, if the committee sees fit to allow the requested variances as revised, that those proposed conditions of approval be included with any approval of the variances. That's part of our agreement, sir, with the neighbors on either side at 133 and 139, and I'm happy to take any questions on those conditions, sir. In terms of the variances themselves, sir, we have a package of materials in front of you. Sir, we've got on the colored site plan the red dashed outline, which shows the standard building envelope that is permitted, sir. With the exception of the one side yard setback at 1.22, sir, you will see that the above grade portion of the house almost entirely complies with that permitted outline. I have read the letters of opposition, sir. They do appear to be focused on a few things. One of them is the length or depth, sir, but I can advise you that that length or depth variance is below grade, and it's why, sir, both our proposed conditions of approval and the planning staff condition of approval have conditions that would ensure that length or depth only applies to that rear portion. I can advise the committee that with the exception of the 1-story extension, the above grade length of the house is 17 meters. The above grade depth of the house is 19 meters, both of which, as the committee knows, would meet with the bylaw. And the only exception is the small 1-story portion at the rear, sir, that comes out. We have in the materials, sir, included our best efforts at finding the quantitative numbers that are in the area, sir. They include a range in the upper 0.5s and into a recently approved 0.6279, 0.61, and 0.64. And sir, some of the opposition appears to be on Dawlish, sir, where we have our 0.59, and along Dawlish, sir, there is 0.55, 0.6279, 0.557, 0.585, and 0.57. Mr. Chair, as I think you have heard from me on other files before, the numbers only tell part of the story. The other part of the story is the qualitative analysis. We think it's a building, sir, that as it presents to the street is in fact in keeping with other houses on the street. We've worked hard with the neighbors to ensure the compatibility is now achieved with those neighbors to their satisfaction. In terms of those neighbors on Dawlish, sir, the main portion of the building is approximately 21 meters away from the rear property line. So a considerable distance, sir.
Okay,
And finally, sir, thank you, sir. I was going to say one thing and wrap up. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, please
Finally,
wrap up,
sir,
because we will come back to you after
yes.
the speaker. You exceeded 5 minutes. We have questions.
Yes,
and we'll come back.
Sir, I will save it. Thank you. Apologies.
We'll come back. We have 4 more speakers. And you said you talked to a number of them, couple of them. We have 7 objections, and we have the letter from the councillor asking to refuse. So we don't know what time you spoke to these people, before or after, but it doesn't matter. Let's see what they say, and we'll come back to you. We have here.
And sir, to be fair, the discussions we had, I don't want to mislead the committee. Our discussions with the most immediately impacted neighbors on either side of us on St. Leonard's. I don't want to leave you an impression that we had extensive discussions with people on Dawlish.
Okay.
We focused on 133 and 139 on either side of us in terms of that compatibility, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thanks. So now we have here Elizabeth Grant and Tom Driscoll. Are you there? Elizabeth Grant and Tom O'Driscoll. Are they there? I don't know. Okay, we'll come back to them. Alan Lowe, are you there? Alan Lowe. He's not there, huh? Ellen Watt, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, could you please tell us your name and your full name and address?
Okay, my name is Ellen Watt, and I'm at 170 Dawlish Avenue.
Okay, and could you tell us what's your concern? What's your concern about this application?
Yes, so the homeowner of 135 St. Leonard's has a lawyer who we just heard from, and the neighbors on either side also had a lawyer that negotiated with him to what appears to be a mutually convenient agreement. And strategically, they decided not to loop in the 4 families on Dawlish that are immediately behind 135 St. Leonard's. And I'm thanking all of you for giving us the opportunity to speak by sending us the notification of what's going on at 135 St. Leonard's. Clearly, the variances are major. They're not minor. They're extending way too, it's way too big for the property, as you know, the 0.59. For us in the back, we're on the lower grade, 135, and all the houses are higher grade. So we would have this massive structure looming over our backyards. I don't have a cottage. Backyard is my cottage. And I'm out there all the time. And especially from a mental health standpoint, all 4 of us are out in our backyards all the time. The last thing we need is some great big monster, behind us. I recognize that the Richard Wangle homes are beautiful, but they're way too big. This is a garden community. I mean, they're so out of character. And as the lawyer mentioned, they're getting bigger. These huge houses are just creeping into the neighborhood. And, it's really, really upsetting. So please agree with me that it does not meet the 4 tests. It's out of character with the neighborhood. It's looming over our backyards. We have absolutely no privacy with such a huge structure. I know you don't deal with flooding, but we know there are flooding issues, especially at 168, which is immediately behind. So, if you look at the whole cause and effect, if a huge structure gets built there, we're going to get the water pouring down on us. So please do not approve this. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, thank you. Let's see what if the members have any question. Do you have any question for this speaker? Okay, we'll go to the next one and then we'll come back to the agent. We have the last one. Last speaker here is Lotz Fulgraf. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Could you please state your full name and your address, please?
Sure. My name is Lutz Fulgraf. I'm speaking for the Lawrence Park Ratepayers Association, and the address is 3219 Yonge Street, Toronto, Ontario, M4N3S1.
Thank you. So please tell us what's the concern of this application.
I have to start with an apology because I realized when I looked at the documents again this morning that my third version of the LPRA letter of objection didn't fix the date from the previous version. So it was submitted on the 27th of July, but because the issue had been deferred 3 times and sometimes with changing documentation, we had to try to adjust to the applicant's material. You know, the issue has been already on the agenda for March 25 as item 30, and it was deferred. And then again on April 28 as item 39, it was deferred again. At the time, actually, the applicant stated that they wanted to use the additional time to discuss the plans with the neighbor and see whether there was any common ground that could be reached. From all the letters of objection that you have on file, or at least the ones that I could still see yesterday, there doesn't seem to have been this hard work that the applicant's attorney referred to make contact with the neighbors that the applicants knew had an issue with this application. I myself, as LPRA representative, reached out 3 times to the applicant's office, and my emails got bounced back, and then I contacted the technician for the Committee of Adjustment and asked him whether the email address was not correct that I used, and we both agreed that no, I used the email address that is on the application, but that the person that is listed there for the applicant does no longer work with the applicant's office, and nobody had updated the application form. So the contact that was there was not reachable anymore. I'm not really sure how much that says about the willingness to talk and to discuss the plans. I also don't know whether the non-updated information has any impact on the validity of the application at all. Anyway, the applicants have not contacted the neighbors that had any concerns. They have been in touch with the city, obviously, to get the city staff to correct, but I don't think they can say that the city is actually agreeing with their plans, because our councillor has clearly stated that she fears that this new structure will tower over the neighboring houses and significantly alter the streetscape. And I think that's right. The house is beautiful, but it is, again, too big. And even when the applicant's attorney listed all the comparable properties with FSIs that are fairly high for the neighborhood, I never heard him say anything that was higher than the FSI that the applicant is asking for, which is now 0.5952, which is a small correction from the previous 0.596. So almost 0.6, and we in this neighborhood, we realize that the 0.35 of the bylaws are, of course, a little bit outdated, but whenever it gets over 0.5 or close to 0.5, then I think the concerns are that the houses are just getting too big for the lands that they are being built on. The city staff does not raise any concerns about the FSI. They really only comment on the length of the building and the fact that this is because of the excavation under the extension in the back. So again, I'm not really sure where they stand on all the other issues. There would be a lot more to say about the individual variances, but I guess I put it all in my letter, and you've also heard it from the previous speaker that there are some concerns about the height and the massing of the building. I always get concerned when I see sidewalls that exceed the height of 7.5 meters of the bylaws when they are close to the side of the lot. And if you look at this, the elevations, the side elevations, then you see that it's basically one solid wall from the front to the back of the building that will take away the shade and impact the privacy of the neighbors. So again, I realize I'm running out of time, so I
Yes,
respectfully
you are.
ask the committee to deny. Yeah, please, I respectfully ask the committee to deny the applicant's request for variances and the plans.
Okay, thank
If
you.
you have any questions, by all means.
Thank you. Any question for this speaker? No question. Okay, so those are all the speakers. So we get back the agent, Mr. Bronscale. Could you come back, please?
Thank you, sir.
So please
So
address those concerns, okay?
yeah, if I could, sir, I'm going to correct some of the, frankly, misinformation that's being provided to you by the Residents Association and, frankly, to the councillor in terms of her letter. First of all, sir, I thought I did provide you with numbers over that are found within the neighborhood, and I'm happy to do that again, sir, and list them that are included. And just as a reminder, so this application initially started at a 0.64 and is now down to the 0.59 through revisions that have been the result of discussions with city staff and the neighbors at 133 St. Leonard's and 139 St. Leonard's. And again, sir, I don't believe that the numbers tell the whole story, but Dawlish has 0.6279, there's a 0.61, a 0.64, a 0.65. I don't think, sir, those numbers mean that you must approve this number, but it's not correct to say that I didn't provide numbers above the 0.59. And in fact, sir, there's a 0.585 on Dawlish. The property directly to the south, sir, at 168 Dawlish, in fact, has an approval at 0.557. You know, sir, it's a sizable house. To correct the record, sir, staff have indicated no objections to the variance being requested. That includes the FSI number, sir. There's no variance, sir, under the new bylaw for height. So I don't know why this is being called a looming building on the street. And in fact, sir, if you look on the second page of the materials we provided, the height to the top of the roof being measured under the new bylaw has been reduced from 10.87, which would have required a variance, actually down to 9.45, which is below the height maximum in the new bylaw. The variance to 10.2 meters is 0.2 meters above the height in the old bylaw provisions. In terms of the sidewall concerns, sir, in terms of impacts on the adjacent neighbors, I don't think that's for the resident association's representative to raise when those neighbors have had extensive discussions with us to resolve their concerns. They are satisfied, sir. And finally, sir, one of the things that was put in the letter from the Residents Association that was picked up by the councillor is a suggestion, and this may be causing the concern, frankly, this misinformation among some of the neighbors to the rear, that because of the grade change, the height of the house at the rear is over 13 meters, I think is suggested, sir. We've picked up the grade datum points on the side elevations for the two-story portion of the building at its furthest south, sir, 166.43, top of the roof 177.4, sir. Even with the grade change at that point, sir, the height's only 10.97 meters. But sir, that includes right to the top of the sloped roof. At that point at the back, the sloped roof actually doesn't exist. And so you can take another 2 meters off that. So at the rear, sir, where the two-story portion of the house is further out of the ground because of the grade change. The actual height, sir, at that point is in fact 8.97 meters. So I think that may be causing some of the issues, sir, is misinformation like that. And so, sir, that's all I intended to say in response.
Okay, thank
We
you.
actually think it fits both quantitatively and qualitatively within the neighborhood, and I'm happy to, as always, answer any questions from the
Thank
committee.
you. Okay, thank you. Questions? Any question for this gentleman? Ms. Tarodi?
Yeah, just a quick question regarding variance number 6, the side of exterior main wall. Which elevation or which part of the elevation triggered that 7.99 meter? Variance number 6?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for the question. I appreciate that. I'm just looking at our package. One moment, with my apologies. Yes, there's a side elevation there in the package. And on the side of that elevation, you'll see on the left side, you'll see the 7.99. It goes up to the top of wall. It's for that architectural element you see, sort of that has that little step back at the front, in terms of then going up to the sloped roof. That's where that's the measurement from established grade in the new bylaw up to the height of that sidewall. And it is an architectural element that is slightly stepped back from the fronts and from the sides, which you can see then on the colored rendering that we've included. It's that band that and I'm going to butcher my architectural terminology here. I apologize. It's the band that you see on the elevations above the cornice line. The 7.99 is measured to the top of that.
Okay. Any other question? No? Okay, if there is no questions, can I have a motion, please? I need a motion. Mr. Bartolo? Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I've listened to all of the arguments on both sides of it here, and in reading over all the material and going over the staff report, there has been an effort by the applicant to make some conciliations with the neighbors and make some reductions. And I do think it's in keeping with the neighborhood and the future development and the development pattern in the neighborhood. So I'm going to submit that this application be approved with the following amendment: that item number 7, the maximum permitted height that be changed from 10.75 meters to 10.2 meters as put forward by the applicant, and that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the building length and depth, which includes the excavated rear platform as shown on the site plan, east and west elevation drawings attached in this report.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Sankar, second. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Tarodi is opposing. And sir, your application is approved, subject to the change you made for number 7 and subject to the staff condition.
Mr. Chair, I didn't want to interrupt in the proceedings. The neighbors at 133 and 139, and I apologize, sir, had asked for other conditions also.
I'm sorry.
Sir.
Once we make a decision, we can't reopen it again. So
I apologize, sir. I didn't want to interrupt when you were in committee, and I apologize for interrupting now.
If you forgot something, we can't do it after we make a decision. Okay. Thank you.
I understand, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. We still have number 43, right? 43. Now we'll see. Okay. We go back to number 43, which is 23 Roycrest Avenue, and we had here Mr. Babak Katirai. Are you there? Babak Katirai. Yeah, we hear some.
Yes.
Okay. Do you hear us? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
But my architect, Mr. Mehdi Hosseini, is there too.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Okay. My name is Baba Katirai. The address is 23 Roycrest Avenue, North York.
Okay, and you're the owner, yeah?
Yes, I'm the owner.
Okay. Now just a second, please. We have here this a new rear addition, second story addition and rear deck, 7 variances. We have staff report, revised variance number 2 and 3 per applicant to refuse. Okay. Now, was there a revision to number 2 and 3?
Mr. Chair. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I did.
Mr. Chair, I'm Mehdi Hosseini. I'm the architect and the agent on behalf of the owner. So yes, there've been the revisions here.
Okay, just
and,
please go ahead. Hold on a second. So you said your name. I'll give you 5 minutes. Make your presentation and tell us all the changes you're making.
Sure. My name is Mehdi Hosseini from Sandringham Corporation, and the agent on behalf of Bobax dealing with this application.
Okay.
So after many discussions with the planning staff, TRCA, and Rabin by law, finally everybody's on board for this application, and we had made this decision, and we already talked to the planning department. The minor variance number 2 will be changed to 50.40 instead of 53.04. And I just want to mention this, that the planning staff, they mistyped the number. They put it 50.04, but it's actually 50.40. And number 3, we are changing the, yes.
So number 2, you're changing it from where to where?
We're changing it from 53.04 to 50.40.
Okay, next.
And next is the side yard setback, which is the minor variance number 3. We are changing it from 0.5 meter to 1.2 meter. And for this one, we already discussed this with the planning staff.
Excuse me, before you make explanation on it, just give us the number and what you change it to. Then you can explain everything after. You're changing number 2.
Yes.
Number 3 from 0.5 to 1.2. What's next?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, so please make your presentation and we'll wait for the explanation.
Okay, so I'm just going to explain it really fast. The reason for the 0.5 meter on the south side of this property was the existing garage that we have there. So our point was, if we were getting rid of that wall, then it wouldn't be considered as an existing. Then we couldn't keep the garage slab as is. And I provided a section to the Committee of Adjustment that's part of the presentation. If they have that, if they can bring that up, there is a section that shows if we are going by the 2% required for the driveway slope, as the property, the situation of the existing house and the distance from the existing house to the road, and considering that 2% slope that's required by the transportation services, then we would have the garage on the height that's almost on the roof of the existing house. So that's why we wanted to keep the existing slab of the garage, and that's why we have that as minor variance number 5. Which I understand, that's one of the things that City of North York, they don't like to have it. And we didn't want to have it too, but the only thing is there is no chance to do it any other way. So we have to keep the existing slab as the driveway already is sloping down. And even as Rabin bylaw, they don't want any changes into the grade of this property. So we're keeping the existing driveway, we're keeping the existing slab of the garage, and that's why we have the garage slab lower than the street elevation.
the 19 meter 0.06 meters of the building length that we have here as a minor variance number 1, the actual length of the building is 13.6 meters, but because it's situated in an angle to the front yard setback, and the way that's being technically measured, that's why we have 19.06 meters for that. And I think the rest of the stuff that we already talked to TRCA and Rabin by law, they already sent their comments, and they don't have any issue with this application now after we went back and we resolved the issues with them. So if there's any question, I would be happy to answer.
Thank you.
And I think Baba wanted to add something here as an owner, if he has the time.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, as you know, we give you 5 minutes between the two of you, so you're already close to it. So please make a fast comment.
Hi, sir. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, sir. As you know, this application was on committee about 5-6 months ago, after like 9 months of waiting, and they told us, Ravine and TRC and planning staff told us, if you solve all your problem with the Ravine and TRCA, we are in favor of your application. That's why we changed as what they asked, because before was 53 point something, and we changed it to 50.4. That's why they told us, if you change this, if you change the side yard, because already there is an existing garage over there, and they told us, if you keep your if you move your wall from 0.5 meter to 1.2 meters, we are agree you keep your garage slab at the same level. And as you know, I'm an owner of the house for like so many years. We're gonna have a little bit bigger space on the house because we're gonna plan to have a kid. That's why we just try to make some addition. We've been back and forward since 2019 with the TRCA and Ravine, and they all agree with our comments. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Miss Sankar, Miss Attarodi? Any question?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I'm still need explanation regarding variance number 2. The building depth that they propose is 50.4 versus 19, which is actually 2.65 times more than what's required. So I would like to get an explanation, as well as the variance number 6, which is the rear deck, which is I need some more explanation, because it's a maximum minimum is 10 meter from the shoreline. So I would like to know what is their explanation regarding those two variants.
Sir, did you?
Okay, so
you heard the question. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just gonna respond to this question. Yes, minor variance number 2. The number seems really big because it's a huge number when you're looking at it. The reason for this is the existing house is located in a really unique situation in this property. The property is really narrow in the front, and it's just getting wider as it goes back. And the existing house is situated really further into the property. As you see on the site plan right here, the existing house in the property is already more than 40 meters back from the front yard. And that's why we get this big number. And it's just a technical way of measuring it, because we have to measure it onto the straight line. That's why we get to that number. And we couldn't bring the house forward. We would love to do that, but because of the TRCA and Rabin Bayla, they didn't let us to bring the house forward. And that's why we proposed to have an addition to this house, because they couldn't build a new house. So that's why they are doing the addition. And that's the only spot that Rabin and TRCA agreed with us to have that box and developing that box. And regarding number 6, you're right. Actually, this one, we removed the deck. So I don't know why they still have this one here. The deck has been removed. So even number 6 can be removed here as well, because we don't even have that anymore. There used to be a deck in the back. I think they made a mistake by adding this here. There is no rear deck there as we see it on the drawing right now.
So you're okay with removing number 6?
Yes, we are okay with removing number 6, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so
And then my last question, yes, what is the existing building depth before you do any addition?
The existing building depth, if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to measure it actually on the CAD drawing and give you that number. So that's easier. It should be just maybe 1 or 2 meters less than this. I'm just going to bring that up. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to open it up here, you know. So the existing building depth, it's actually from the center here to here. It's 49.4. So we're actually pushing back like 1 meter or less than 1 meter.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other question? If not, can I have a motion, please? Anyone, Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I've listened to everything, and this is a kind of a highly technical one and unusual. And while some of the variances might seem large, given that the odd shape of the land and very narrow at the front, I think it necessitates a little bit of relief for the length, even if it seems a little large. So I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application pending the following revisions: that variance number 2 be changed to 50.4 meters, variance number 3 be changed to 1.2 meters, variance number 6 removed, and there's no conditions from TRCA or Ravine, and that will be my motion. Thank you.
Okay.
So can I have a friendly, yes, can I have a friendly amendment? Would it be possible that we tie to the site plan so that it will explain a lot of the variances, building depth, and a lot of it shows the irregularity of the land.
Sure, I have no issues
You're okay with attaching the site plan? Okay. All right.
So I'll second.
Second, all in favor? Okay, unanimously approved, subject to the changes you just heard and subject to the attachment to the site plan. Okay?
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. So we have number 45, which is the last one. Application number 45, which is 96 Monroe Boulevard. Application number 45, and that's Mr. Tom Sprague. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just please
Yes.
repeat your name and address
Okay.
for our record.
Yes, my name is Tom Sprague, Sprague and Company Architects, and our address is 156 Duncan Mill Road in
Thank you.
Toronto now. I'll
Thank
just
you.
give a very
Yeah, we have
brief
well, just to say, we
background.
have one variance here, but
Yes.
could you please show us the changes you're making here?
Well, I just will give some background to the application. The owners themselves have lived in the house now, in their home now for, I think, about 11 years, and they do require additional living space. And what we're trying to do is add a small addition at the back that would extend out approximately just about 6 foot, just under 7 feet, which would give them the space that they do require for their family. I should say that there's an existing one-story addition that goes out the 19.06 meters to the back of it. And what we're trying to do there is just basically line it up with what's there now, but it would be a 2-story addition. I should say that I did look at other examples in the immediate area to see if there were links, what was sort of normal and new builds. And And I believe I did submit in on posted on July the 18th. Yes, these are other ones in the area. As you see there, 100 Monroe is 19.5. That's 2 doors to the east, and other ones in the area. So what's being proposed, and these are all new homes. This is not an addition like this is. So it's certainly in keeping with sort of the scale of other projects in the immediate area, and I know throughout that area.
Oh, okay.
I also am aware of the letter from the neighbors and are certainly concerned and want to try and address their concerns. We did a shadow study very briefly, just based on where the shadows were. And yeah, that's right, I posted that. And really that gave an idea. That was August the 3rd. We also did them for like on the June 21st and September 21st. But this was sort of a couple of days ago when we did it. And it's sort of there in terms of the at noon, which is the one at the start, really no change at all in light, and 3 o'clock, very, very small change at the side from what was there, and certainly late at 6 o'clock there was a bit more shadow in the back, but certainly not dramatic. It's only going out close to 7 feet anyway in doing that. Now I will say one thing which I would like to say is that the neighbors obviously want to try and accommodate the neighbors next door, the owners. And so on our drawings, we indicated a covered porch, which projects up above the deck. And the owners have decided you'd almost have to look at the rear elevation. Maybe that would be the best one. To see there's a covered porch with a skylight there. They're going to delete that. They're not going to have any covered porch at all, and that'll take away less impact in some fashion from the neighbors. So part of this would be we would not be proceeding with showing anything like that. There you go. See that part sticking up? That just won't be there. They won't build out. So that's, even though it's it's got a flat roof on it, but it's a bit more of a barrier. So the owners would like to sort of not do that, and hopefully that would be something anyway to address the concerns of the neighbor. Just in summary, I feel that what's being proposed here is minor. It's certainly appropriate for trying to develop this house to make it more livable for what they need. And also, there's only one variance. It's the length variance. There's no coverage. There's no height. There's no height of wall. The landscaping's fine. So we've tried to do everything, and it's just this small thing which would give them the space that would really improve it for them, for their standpoint. And it goes out 7 feet. So I feel it's appropriate anyway. And I think I've hit my time. Have I? I don't know. I got a bit more time. But
Okay. Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah.
you.
So
Okay. All right. Thank you. We have one more speaker. We might come back to you. So all I
Okay.
I see here just one variance, and you're not making any change, right?
no, the variance would stay the same.
Okay. Thank
Which
you.
matches the length of the house now.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
But
Okay. Henry Chu or Larry Law, are you there?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Henry Chu here.
Okay. Could you please state your name and address and full address for our
Yes.
records?
Yeah. My name is Henry Chu, and my office is at 2347 Kennedy Road, Suite 507 in Toronto, and it's postal code M1T3T8. And I'm an architect and acting on behalf of the adjacent property owner, Larry Law,
Okay.
and which is on the east side of the subject property.
Okay. So tell us there's one variance here. Tell us what's your concern.
Yes. May I be able to share the screen? And I wanted to show the. I have to. Yeah, this is one of the opposed letter that I filed in. But I do wanted to share my screen that I have. I don't know whether I would have to drag it down to the. Okay, maybe I could use this one here. This letter that I wanted to show the first pictures and the impact from the adjacent property. Here is my client's house, and they resided in this house for over 30 years. And here's the backyard that they have some sitting lounge. And here is the adjacent property, 96 Monroe. And the addition is going to extend it from this wall out about 2 meters. and which is about 2 stories high, of which is what is said, it's the length of the house being 19 meters. The property, both property are built under the old bylaw of North York, under the R4 zone, which permit the house length stops at 17 meters, and they will also allow a 1-story addition at the back. The purpose of this bylaw stopping at 17 meter and allowing an addition at the back is to provide the privacy and also the sunlight hours within the whole neighborhood. And this is very consistent, for the past 30 years. Now, the new bylaw allow some of the additions, but the old bylaw certainly is the one that governs what should be there. As you can see, the impact of this addition, 2 meter by 2 stories high, which is about 6 meter. And I have one shadow diagram that I prepare. I don't know whether it would be able to show it on the screen by dragging it on to the stage. Yeah, would I be able to do it?
No.
Yeah, can you see it? Okay, this one here is the enlarged version of the house on 96. And as you can see, the point A and B is the current 2nd floor. And A would cast the shadow at HS, and so is the BS. So this is the line at September 21st at 4 p.m. And that is the shadow line. By addition, then we have C and
me.
D.
Sorry to interrupt, but this material is not on screen. Like, we're not looking at anything right now.
Oh, you're not looking at anything? It's not on your screen?
No, we already told him that we don't see a screen, but he still want to speak on it. No, we told you we can't.
Okay.
We can't project that screen.
Okay. All right. And
there's one variance here, so please make sure you continue on that path.
Okay. Well, I would just wanted to emphasize the shadow impact is extended by 2 meters. I guess like on a small scale drawing, the 2 meter doesn't show anything, but when you enlarge it, it's 2 meters, which is almost the size of this screened trellises on the side of my client's house. So by adding that 2 meter and being 2 stories high, and also some of the window will be overlooking into this rear yard space. And as you can see, the quality of my client's rear yard has a swimming pool, a sitting lounge, and some sun deck. By this addition, which would cast a shadow within most part of the space, just outside my client's house, which I think it would be a adverse impact, which is significant. And I think it's not minor and not appropriate.
Okay.
So I would hope the committee could refuse the application.
Yes, you finished exactly your 5 minutes. Okay. So, any question to this speaker? No? Okay. No. Sir, Mr. Sprague, could you come back here and please and tell us and summarize this here, because we have to, Mr. Sprague?
Yes, I'm here still. Yep.
Okay, so you heard that that speech.
Yes, just a quick response. Yes, and I looked at the photo that the gentleman had on of the house next door, and both the back of the houses, the 2-story portions, line up. They're 17 meters, and then there is a 1-story addition that goes out another 2 meters, I suspect. So in fact, the back of his house at that level is 19 meters or close to it. So I honestly feel that what's being proposed here is it's up against that 1-story that does project out to the 19 meters, and I think I feel it's very appropriate, and also I think which helps is, as I've stated, the actual porch, they're not going to put that on. I think that helps them next door too. So I think it's very reasonable and minor in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this speaker? If not, can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I've listened to both sides of this, and I understand the issue here, and we see a lot of discourse over shadow and massing and neighboring. But I do believe that what's being proposed is minor, and it's there's no increase in FSI. There's no impact on landscaped area. It's one relatively small variance. So I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application as is.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved and there is no conditions.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to terminate, please? Ms. Attarodi? Ms. Attarodi?
Yes, a motion to terminate the session at 5:08.
Thank you. And second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Mr. Bartolo, you want to stay here? Okay, thank you. Okay, 5:08 minutes.